Okay, we should be going.
Okay, hello. Happy Friday. It's starting to be nice weather, isn't it, everybody? Welcome to the Gaytriarchy channel. That's sort of a podcast eventually, maybe someday. Are you a gay guy? Are you a bisexual guy? Are you somebody that generally tends to be attracted to men and you don't have a vagina? And even if you do, but you just enjoy gay guys and you have no interest in converting us into being feminists because you don't have any sort of particular political agenda. You don't think of yourself as somebody that's on any strong quadrant of the political compass, except for maybe you do. Maybe you are a hardcore libertarian, and that's why you're here, because you like people who have yellow and black avatars or something like that. Maybe that's why you tune in and listen to us talk about things, because yeah, reasons. Well, today we are going to be going over the political compass test. I think that that's sort of the featured segment of this, and I've actually made it into a drinking game. So I guess maybe I'm going to be going over it, and you guys can be going over it at home and sort of share your answers, if you want. I think the other guys have all done it. I refuse to do it because I've tried and I get about like 5 questions through before I realize I can't answer one of them. And I don't like doing that. I don't like taking a test when someone says, you have to choose between this and this. And I say, I don't want to choose. And they say, well, you have to. And I say, well, then I won't. I won't talk to you. And so I leave the site and I don't finish. And that's why I've never finished. But decided for the sake of entertainment, I might as well force myself. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to drink some tequila. I am going to be making myself a margarita. And the game is this: if a question annoys me and it's hard for me to answer, I will take a sip from the margarita. And if I decide that I full blown just can't answer the question, I will take a shot and pick whichever is the best, and pick it anyway and move on. And so by the end of this, I might actually be pretty drunk, but hopefully that'll be fine, unless it's not. That's all. So, my regular people from left to right, we have our cat's gay.
Hello, fellow Gaytriarchs. It is me, Arcat's Gay, and I've decided that I have been wasting my life. I'm going to quit YouTubing and commit myself fully to nursing so I can afford the $5,000 Japanese massage chair that I sat in for an hour at Costco before I came here. That shit was life-fulfilling.
Cats, that was a Japanese toilet seat.
Oh. Well, that would explain why I was so relaxed, I guess. But yeah, I'm Arcatsuke. I am the coiner of the term Gaytao, very interested in the welfare of gay and bisexual and, well, pretty much all men. I'm a gay MRA, I guess you could say. And I'm also a huge nerd. So here I am.
Yes. Oh, I refined my. Last week you did the little Arcat, or you said yes. The mother of dragons, or
no, I'm Arcatsuke, father of Gigtao, slayer of lesbians.
Yeah, okay. I refined mine a little bit. I was like, I'm Prince of Queens, defender of this realm. If you want to get at the gays, you will have to step into the intellectual gladiator arena with me. But be forewarned, I'm smarter than I sound. I hide my power.
I like it. His power level is over 9,000. And hot pink.
But he won't break your scouter.
Oh my God.
All right, so the other one.
Am I next? Is that the order? I'm looking at the stream. I think I'm next, right?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I'm Spacepan. I give my opinion on the internet, which is very novel. Very, very novel. Not very many people do that. But on a less sarcastic note, not a lot of people are both like MRAs and ANCAP and into Eurovision and Danielle Bregoli all at the same time. So I just put all that shit in a blender. Maybe it's your jam. And if it's not, then maybe you like, I don't know, fucking people who don't totally agree with you. Like if I only listened to me, then I would only have ANCAP avatar people in my YouTube subscriptions. Which, by the way, I counted those recently. I have like 400 YouTube subscriptions, and that's stupid. Like 400. Like they just go on forever.
So, by the way, I watched that Danielle Bergoli video with David Spade in it, and it was quite entertaining.
Gucci flip flops.
Uh-huh.
That song is so freaking good. These hoes is the best though. Like when they have all of the protesters out there, like mom's opposed to bad baby. We will not catch you outside. Like it's.
Guys, I'm sorry to interrupt everyone, but people in the chat are complaining that we're buffering like crazy. Bacon, can you fix that?
Dude, you gotta go 144p squad, fam. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, hold on. It's my internet's being stupid right now. Sorry about that, people.
Well, I guess we can't introduce Bacon at the moment, so we'll have to introduce Feral Cat.
Is that your ice cubes, Prince?
Yeah, I'm starting to make my first margarita.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is Feral Cat, the Gaytriarchy of Appalachia, and Smartass Supreme.
Welcome to our favorite emergency stand-in whenever we don't have a regular guest. But he's always been there to help.
I'm going to take that as a compliment, you know?
It was sort of a compliment. It wasn't not a compliment.
It's Feral
Don't you have
Cat.
more to say about yourself? How has your you haven't made? Have you made a video since like the third one about? I think you had like sort of an update saying that you weren't making videos. Have you made an actual video since then?
No, I've written a couple of scripts. Just I really haven't had time to sit down and record. In fact, I think this is the first night that I've actually been out of work at this particular time. It's been crazy.
Oh, damn. Well, I look forward to it. Don't you hate recording scripts? Like, I mean, I don't know if you do, but I really do. There's some people who kind of like it, but the recording part is my least favorite part of it. Just for the record, you know, aspiring YouTubers, people who've considered making channels, writing is not that hard. Getting your writing ideas out there, but actually recording and sounding good and not fumbling your words, making it sound clear, and then, you know, doing it over, blah, 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 you know, that is a real pain in the ass, and it's a real pain.
Total pain in the ass.
Even for me, still, you know, like it's not like it gets better.
And if you get obsessive like I do and start going through your audio recordings in Audacity and start like running noise reduction filters and clipping and even get an ounce created, you'll take an hour-long process and make it into several days or a week, as anyone who's ever collabed with me will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was I going to say? Oh, if you're in the chat and you have not yet smashed that like button, please do, because it does actually help, supposedly, because I don't think that this channel has been hit yet by Susan Wojcinski's evil curse of because it's pretty easy to find the Gaytriarchy channel, and you can actually search and it will come up, which most smaller channels that are, you know, of this genre it's not true for, so it might actually help.
Our general lack of success has protected us at this point. No, we're doing good for a small channel that just started. How long have we been doing this now? We're only on our 10th episode.
Yeah.
This has been going for like, I guess, 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What an accomplishment.
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
No, it really doesn't. But we go up a little bit every time. This channel already has way more view minutes than my channel does, but of course that's because every episode is anywhere from 2 to 4 hours long, and so even if only 3 or 4 people are watching it, it's just minute. Hell, I should start streaming more.
Why do you think I do it?
I guess so.
So Bacon, you didn't say anything about yourself.
Oh yes, I am Saint Bacon, the resident tech monkey who's dealing with OBS fucking up. Or YouTube, maybe Susan's finally gotten to us. Who knows?
Her demonic throttling cloud algorithm things.
Well, at least she hasn't hired people to come after us yet.
I don't think YouTube would have to hire people to come after us. They would just they would write people. Like they would create. YouTube being the company it is, they probably find it easier to just make self-coding computers that would come after us.
I have no idea how much margarita mix to pour into this thing.
I could
just a splash. The rest, vodka or whatever you got. Or not vodka, tequila. Shit.
Yeah. Okay.
You could do what this one guy in college did when I was going to Santa Barbara. He poured himself 2 shots of tequila, drank them. Then he poured margarita mix into the small space into the tequila bottle that was left by the shots that he had poured, and then proceeded to just drink directly from the bottle.
Seems legit.
Yeah, I pity his liver, but he seemed to have a good time for conscious.
All right, there's the first drink. Or not the first. There's the okay, and then is this gonna be crazy? Is it gonna be like, hold up?
Just in case there's any uncertainty, people, like Prince is drinking, not urinating on stream.
Oh god. So
Maybe we should pick what story we want after the fact.
With what?
Okay, we ready to do
I said maybe we
Eurovision?
should not determine that. We should just decide what we want the story to be after the fact, just in case.
You said don't qualify.
Well, considering I am drinking and I'm on a wireless headset, you're gonna get to hear me piss too.
Lovely.
Yay.
I can't. Golden showers for everyone. Yay! All right, Bacon's trying to get us on tune.
We're ready. We've been ready to go. It's just OBS being stupid, or my shitternet being stupid. One of the two.
Is your OBS flaring up?
Yeah, it's flashing warnings at me that I usually ignore, and apparently this time it's actually meant something.
What does that mean? What warnings?
It keeps giving me like it's overloading on data or something, and usually it means nothing, and this time it actually caused lag.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll get a little bit, because we had more viewers and they are gone, but maybe, whatever.
Anyways, I'm ready for the first story, which is Eurovision.
Yeah, so what is that exactly? What?
All right, I will let you guys know. So to start off, Eurovision, for those of you who are not aware, it's basically the gay Olympics. It's basically the greatest, biggest gay event on the entire fucking planet. It's actually, like, I think the biggest televised event in the world. The Super Bowl might beat it, but globally speaking, it's fucking up there. And like basically the only people in the world who don't know about it are Americans. Australians love it so much that the European broadcasting was like, you know what, Australia, you can be part of Europe too. And oh yeah,
well, they're right next to each other, ain't they?
That shit, forever. Which is like the funniest flavor ever. He gets so much shit for being like the biggest faggot ever for like pimping Eurovision, but it's so good, and it's like the best thing that gays have ever. I mean, gays don't really give it to us, but basically, it's the Super Bowl for women and gays in Europe. Each country sends an entry, right, and they all get to like pick their own entry their own way, which is super fun because you get to see each European country's flavor. You get to see them act like as the country that they are. Like with Russia, for example, they always take it super seriously and they have this like super calculated entry, right? Like this year they like took a crippled bitch and like they like sent her to Portugal so she gets to see the ocean for the first time, right? And it's always a song, but there's also like a gimmick. Anyway, so they all come together, they all compete. Whoever wins gets to host it the next year. It's been going on since like the 50s. Like it started with like 5 countries in the 50s, and now it's been going on for over 50 years. And now they have semifinals, and like everyone and their sister is in it, except for America. But like even Israel's part of Europe, it turns out. And what happened this week, which is why we need to talk about this because it's like breaking news regarding this year's contest, is China pulled some, again, totally stereotypically in character bullshit, which is why Eurovision is the greatest thing ever. So China doesn't compete in it, but they were broadcasting it, and like one of their stations just didn't fucking play the Irish entry. Because the Irish entry was like doing this like gay pandering virtue signaling thing where they had this like awful fucking ballad and they had these like two faggot dancers like dancing around and twirling and shit, and they like all the gays watch it and they're like, oh my god, this is so touching and blah blah blah, and like go watch it, but like make sure you're on prep first, like don't stare directly into it. It's not safe. Like oh my god. And like side note, this is like why I can't stand gay people, is the fact that like they buy into this kind of pandering. They're just like, oh look, our token ballet dancers are out here, this is for us. And it's like, bitch, the whole thing is for you. All the dancers were fucking gay. All the dancers were gay this whole fucking time. It's just now they're like overtly gay. It's not progressive. Anyway, so I'm with China censoring it because it's degenerate. They also censored Albania for their tattoos. And here's the best part. They went through and they like blurred out gay flags and shit. So can you just imagine like being your job in fucking communist China is going through literally the gayest thing in the world, like gayer than gay porn level of gay. And you have to go through and censor every single fucking faggy ballet dancer and every single like gay flag and shit, and like that's your job in China.
Wait. Sorry, they're what are they like blurring people out of? I don't. How does this censorship work exactly? Explain it.
Sure. So they're showing like the cameras of the live competition, and like it shows the fans in the audience. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't explain this. People bring flags. Like having your flag at Eurovision is like a really big deal. And if you like a few songs, you'll like have each country that you like have it in your pocket. And if you're gay, you'll have your fucking gay flag too, because like Ireland did their homo virtue signal shit, right? So like people had all their gay flags out, they had their Irish flags out, they have their whatever country's performing, they get the flag out and wave it around or whatever. But that was the point, is somebody in the audience had like a rainbow flag, but like China had to censor that too.
That's hysterical.
It's so freaking funny.
I mean, the whole thing sounds gayer than a tree full of monkeys on nitrous oxide. So I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, can the audio, can the video, and just have like this black bar across the whole thing, or what?
Well, this is definitely keeping in spirit with what China's been doing recently. Remember the whole spaceman? How do you say it? Sina Weibo. The weird. What did you say it was? Like someone said it was gay. No, not gay. It was Chinese Twitter, and they were trying to remove like all gay like.
Oh, it might have been Weibo or like Weixin, one of those.
It was Sina Weibo or something. I remember it was like Sina. I want to say it was Sina Weibo. I just didn't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, they went through this whole thing where they were on a 3-month cleanup campaign, as they called it, and they were trying to scrub all gay imagery, and it caused a huge. I mean, it was bad enough to make conservative-ass China have a whole bunch of gay people going online saying, I am not a pervert. And it became like this thing that even the Chinese state news is talking about. This is too far. So I think this is definitely in keeping with what they've been doing lately.
Yeah, no, it's totally in their character. And like, that's one of the joys of watching it. But oh my God, I just have to give a shout out to our chat right now, because Heaven Colley, one of our biggest, most consistent people who comes and watches us, which is really awesome. She was like, I love the Romanian entry where they had the vampire who sang countertenor opera. I know the one she's talking about. It was Caesar, This Is My Life or whatever, or It's My Life. And it was like this opera over the top campy thing. And it's just freaking amazing. Yes, they would do it since '56 when Liz Asia won. She was the first winner, and then she did a song with Young Jack, and it was like a rap song. So you have all these rappers who are out there, right? And they're like, "Yo, is that Liz Asia?" And then this like old white chick walks up, and she's like, "Hi, how's the flow?" It's so perfect. Everything about it.
It's something
the
kind of
characters
thing
come
that, like some weird obscure old woman, you know, like someone like Tammy Wynette that only the gays care about at all, you know, like, or like Dolly Parton will show up one year or some shit and everyone's like, oh my God, it's Dolly, just to say like 3 sentences like, hey, Eurovision, blah, 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 and then she gets off stage. Like, you know
ABBA, Waterloo, that was a Eurovision winner. Waterloo, like that's Tattoo performed at Eurovision. They got 3rd place.
Of course, they don't count anymore since they admitted they were a fake lesbian band made just for the shipping.
Which one?
Tattoo.
Tattoo. They were the fake ones. Yeah.
They weren't actually lesbians.
No, they like the.
Holy crap! Prince,
I
you're
don't
like
know
the
who
last person to find out. I'm really sorry you had to learn this way. Tattoo
I
are
know.
not
I
real
don't know.
lesbians.
Actually, it's more that I don't know
no.
that I don't know who Tattoo it is.
They were a couple of, I guess, attractive young Russian girls, or one. I think they were both Russian. One of them might have been Ukrainian. I don't remember, but they were two young Russian girls who were supposedly like there was this big thing that they were like in a relationship and like they were like the lesbian pop duo of Russia, and it was a huge thing. I mean, they became popular all over the place. Some of their music was, I guess, kind of catchy because it was reasonably well produced. But a while ago, one of them finally admitted that the whole thing was staged, that they did it just, for the record sales.
Oh, kind of like Annie Lennox, who's not actually a lesbian and was dating the Eurythmics guy, and then she broke up with him, and that was when her "No More I Love Yous" album. It was all about her heartbreak with him, and that's why she was so fucking sad that whole album.
What's super interesting about Eurovision this year is Israel's entry has they have a woman who uses a looper, right? And it was like this rules thing where all of the vocals have to be live, and she is like, okay, but I'm gonna sing them all live and then like replay them with my looper, and they're like, okay, fine.
Mhm.
That
So
actually
Israel might win.
counts.
Well, I mean, as long as it's not pre-recorded, it's still at that point you're just using your voice in a computer like an instrument. I have no problem with that. That's like someone DJing, basically.
No, exactly. I don't either. I think it's totally awesome, and I'm just surprised it didn't come up earlier. I'm surprised like she's the first one to like make it an actual thing.
People were probably just wanting to, not rock the boat and just get in, since apparently everyone in the world besides us and you, well, no, you make up for the rest of us, but yeah, I guess everyone in the world really cares about this thing. And yeah.
Yes. Okay. We have Uxkin in the chat was like, oh yeah, Verka Serduchka dancing Lasha Tumbai from 2000 was so cap. That was the very first Eurovision song I ever heard. Verka Serduchka's dancing Lasha Tumbai from Ukraine. Oh man, Ukraine's like the best country, and also Moldova. Anyway, so I could just ramble forever, but like, fucking Belgium got robbed this year. That was some bullshit.
In case anyone doesn't know, Spaceman is actually planning on leaving the Gaytriarchy so that he can devote himself fully to Eurovision. Because he's been talking about this every single episode, I think, since the beginning.
Well, it's been coming up, and it happens once a year. It's his World Cup, so I understand.
Yeah, so like we're
Going
not
to
gonna be allowed to
represent us.
talk about it after this week. I mean, I still will, but fuck ever.
Yeah, it'll be like the post Burning Man months when telling stories amongst your friends. Oh my God, do you remember when I went to Burning Man? My favorite story was a group of us, about probably 20 of us, decided, okay, some fucking art car made the mistake of parking in front of our area. And there was about 150 of us. And I think that it might have been right after this fucking fashion show that we had, that a lot of us had been, I don't want to say forced to be in it, but like there was like 50 people that were in it. This woman put outfits on all of us. And I was in a fucking corset, by the way. So it was annoying. So we got out of that, and it was like, oh, thank God. And we were drinking, and somebody parked an art car, and we decided that we wanted to get in it and go, and it was empty. And the person was like, no, I'm taking a break, man. And they're like, no, we want to go somewhere. Let's go. Come on. And there was like a whole bunch of us, and so he was like, okay, fine. And so he started driving us around. And the thing about Burning Man is like they have these art cars, like a whole bunch of people can get on them usually. And they don't mind if you just sort of like run and jump on. And that's generally the Burning Man etiquette, right? So I decided that I had to piss, but I didn't want to get off because we were moving. And so my friend is like, well, just piss off the side. And sure enough, while I do it, somebody tries to run and get on. And I'm pissed on them. And it wasn't even like, something where like
Wow.
Maybe I kind of pissed on them. It was like they're running up trying to get on, and then they're like, "Oh fuck!"
So it went full golden shower.
Yeah, and they stop, and everybody is like, "Oh my god!" Like,
Well, the only thing
Wow.
missing from that story is Prince telling us that at that point he put both hands over his head and went, "Yeah!"
yeah, it was pretty funny. So like you get back into the city that you're from, and you hang out with people, and obviously you go out to parties, and people are like, "Remember when we were on that art car and you had to piss?" Blah, 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 blah. And then the people who aren't at Burning Man, like who didn't go, are like, "Oh my fucking god, these people and their stupid ass Burning Man stories." Like, oh, it might be kind of like that.
No, I don't get annoyed at all by Space Pan's. I'll call it Eurovision centrism, Eurocentrivision. I can't make an ism for that. I don't mind it at all. Yes, well, I know it's Euro. I was trying to make it Eurovision centrism, but it doesn't work. Thank you for drawing attention to that, Bacon. But
well, I commit another war crime against you.
You are just a constant defilement of myself, my spirit, my ancestors, and just my general being. Like there's not a safe space safe enough to keep away from you. Just so we're clear. But yeah.
Okay, but like it's not fair because this is kind of like saying, you're really into Christmas on fucking Christmas Eve. It's like, well, yeah.
I'm just teasing you because you bring it up and you love it so much, and you seem to be the only person who's.
No,
I'm
what
not
I
saying
love
it
is people in our chat are just like mentioning random entries, and I'm like, I know that one. That's my favorite fucking song.
Mm-hmm.
I can play this game all day. This is my favorite game.
I can't really make fun of you either because if the moment we start talking about any kind of science fiction, I will nerd out much harder than I'm pretty sure out of all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think you're the only Farrell. You're the only person I've ever met who comes close to my level of sheer sci-fi nerddom. You quoted Kosh in your video. At that point, I decided we were soulmates. And
really, I quoted Olcash, but that's beside the point.
But you put Kosh in the video, like that was. Yeah.
I have no idea what Kosh is.
From Babylon 5. But see, that's why.
Okay, yeah.
See, that's why I'm a bigger nerd than all of you, because I said Kosh. And that's why Farrell is a bigger nerd than all of you, because I said Kosh and he knew what I was talking about.
I don't know though. I bet I could school you when it comes to video games.
Probably, but I'm sure you can because I'm a terrible gamer, like who never really played. But I didn't say I was.
I had a fucking NES, a Sega Genesis, a Super Nintendo, a PlayStation 1, a Nintendo 64. Took a break, and then now I have an Xbox 360 and a PS4.
Yeah, you see,
okay, to that mix, add a TurboGrafx 16 and a ColecoVision. Oh, and the Atari 2600, 5200, and 7200.
Yeah, you
big-ass nerd.
You guys are nerdy of a different flavor than me. I just watched a lot of science fiction shows from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. Obsessively. I have Kate Mulgrew's autograph.
Oh, I'm staticking? Somebody said I'm staticking.
I don't hear you staticking. It must be on the. It must be on the feed itself.
It's Jeremy M saying that you have static, and he's usually pretty reliable.
So we should move on to talking about something else because people are going to get bored. Let's move on to the next thing,
which is the drag queen.
Hooray, drag queens!
So I'm just gonna summarize this because there's only like one part of this that's not a hit piece against this poor, I guess, woman.
Oh, she seems cool. I listened to her interviewed on somewhere.
Yeah.
She's smart. She's very smart, I think.
Well, anyways, for those who aren't caught up for chat, this wonderful lady here, not this one, the actual one that looks like a woman, she went to the Day of Freedom in London to demonstrate for free speech because, as we know, England doesn't really have it. And apparently all the social justice twats in England are trying to get her like deplatformed and unemployed from being a drag queen. And there was one quote towards the end that I found interesting. Here it is. She said, I accepted the request not because I couldn't wait to step in line with people whose politics I supported, but because I felt I would be a hypocrite to only champion free speech when it suits my own ideological ends. As a lifetime Labour voter whose closeted friends back home in Scotland are almost exclusively SNP enthusiasts, I frequently stand alongside people with whom I disagree on a variety of subjects. I have lived through 2 hugely divisive referenda as an adult, and the way we are becoming so polarized right now has broken my heart.
That is one very eloquent drag queen.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't realize that she was actually British because she sounds American when she talks.
No, she's British.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is par for the course.
One of the things I've noticed, and has anyone else noticed this? Sometimes British people end up sounding very, very British gay people and people who might be on the internet a lot sound quite American, and I think it's because they go on YouTube and watch a lot of American television and stuff like that. Or maybe just British people in general, because I don't know. That's just
I mean, honestly, with British people, it could be, but I think it has more to do with the fact that accent is so important in England because your rank as a person is determined largely by how you speak. So there's a lot of people that will specifically go out of their way to learn a different higher class accent, particularly if they're in the entertainment, arts, or politics. Because, I mean, as we all know, England has about 700 different accents, each of them with about 2,000 subvariants, allowing people to easily determine exactly what block you live on in your city.
Wasn't that the primary reason for coming up with received pronunciation?
Yeah, that's it right there.
So.
RP, and I think there's another one too, but yeah, you see a lot of people who work in entertainment going way out of their way to speak in RP. And any British people in the chat, please correct us if any of us say this wrong. But yes, accent is very important, and especially you. Yeah.
In my dad's my dad, when I was young, when I was 12 through 14, was dating an Australian woman because he studied for a year sabbatical taught as a professor in Melbourne, and he dated this woman for a while who was originally English, but then moved to outside of Melbourne, probably 2 or 3 hour drive. And she was, I think, probably from a pretty wealthy family. And she explained that accent and pronunciation was actually very, very important in her schooling, and they had what they called elocution classes where they taught how to pronounce everything in the right British way. And so she mostly talked like a English person, and her Australian friends would kind of like make fun of her a little bit for sounding more uppity or whatever.
We used to have that in American schooling too, up until I want to say up until about the 30s, proper schooling, at least for upper class people, like elocution or whatever we called it, probably like what we would call voice lessons today were considered to be part of an upper class, especially a tutor's education. I mean, if you can kind of tell when you listen to some of the older movies, like from like the 40s and the 50s, assuming it wasn't like a potboiler noir film, a lot of like richer upper class type characters sounded almost English, even though they were clearly American. And I think that's where that comes from. But we've we've sidetracked on accents, and we're
yeah. Let's get back to the drag queen.
Yes. I mean, it's just sad that that you're seeing this kind of censorship everywhere, and I really wonder whether, again, because she's a drag queen, I imagine she's getting a lot more heat than she would have gotten if, say, she was a trans individual. Just because, I mean, England already, or the UK, I should say, has a pretty nasty reputation already with this. Do you guys remember, I think it was Glasgow, where the drag queens were banned from the Pride Parade because it was considered to be transphobic?
Yeah, well, gay men
Oh,
are
for fuck's sake.
gay men in general are just problematic because I mean we don't make good commies, it turns out. But yeah, I I was gonna say about sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. The okay, somebody else talk because I just don't remember.
Okay, we're talking about accents in the track, and did you guys know that Melania Trump's accent actually changes when you change the speed?
Really?
Yeah, I was listening to her speech that she gave the be best, so we can be best for the people, right? It's beautiful. It's so cute because they gave her like a grammatically shit. Oh, Sleepy Doodle just mentioned LA, LA, LA. That's the French entry from like what 2009. Yes, that was. All right, easily distracted. But anyway, I cracked the code. It's 1 speed. She has like her regular like Eastern European accent. If you go 1.25 times, then it's Russian. And if you go 1.5 times, she's straight up German.
Oh my god.
Seriously, like you can play this game, like watch her be best speech and just like put it on different things, and you'll be like, holy shit, Derek was just being a dick, but like he's right.
It is amazing how much speed edits will change the way people sound. But before we move on, coming back to what we...
Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Oh, yes.
So I was just going to say that, like, I don't think it would matter who the hell this person is. Because even if you're a black lesbian in a wheelchair, you will be thrown out for the wrong thoughts. And often people are more vicious to people that they view as traitors.
True.
You know?
The Kanye effect.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to actually start calling it that. It's just sad that no one, I mean, what she's saying, what is her name? Vanity Von Glow, I believe her name is.
Yep.
Yeah, such really eloquent, an admirable stance to take. And yeah, I mean, I really do believe that. I mean, I hope that she'll be able to continue her career, because I know something similar happened, I want to say around the election when Trump was elected. There was some drag queen here in America, I forget who, but they had made some offhand comment somewhere, probably on Facebook or Twitter, foolishly, about how they had voted for Trump, and overnight they lost all of their bookings and were just blacklisted, because we all know that gay Republicans, gay conservatives, like there's a same way with black people. There is proper behavior, and then there is heresy.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm not going to tell people how to vote, but if you do vote for Trump, which you can, that is your choice. You can also not tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Admit it. I mean, I was less red pill, or whatever we're calling it these days. I was less open-minded at the time, but even then, I remember thinking, well, that sucks. But, when you're a performer, you really need to be very deliberate with your image, because that's literally all you have. But I will say this for Vanity, that was ballsy. And if nothing else, hopefully she will get a different kind of career now. And I'd like to say that it was also a great sign of how ridiculous the claims that this was just a hateful right-wing mob of bigots, because she performed and people really liked it. And I mean,
I want to check out her stuff now.
Yeah, she's supposed to be quite good. Tim Pool said she was amazing, enough to make him stop while he was interviewing someone, apparently, for a minute.
Huh. Yeah, maybe we can have her on someday.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I want to, I feel like I should reflect a little bit as somebody who used to be a performer and actually work with drag queens. And that's where my name comes from,
I didn't know that.
Me either.
Yeah, my name comes from the fact that I used to work with drag queens, and I've had a number of different music projects that I did with drag queens. It was mostly me producing music and them doing vocals, but I had one project that was me and another drag queen where we both did vocals. Sorry, another I didn't do drag, but me and a drag queen where we both did vocals. Just because as soon as I started making music with this person, I realized that they were very, very talented and I actually really liked them. And oh, uh, mute your microphone, Derek, or someone. I'm getting a little. Okay, there we go. So, I realized that I really liked them and that they were really, really talented. And so I decided that we should actually try to be a band. And they were like, okay, cool, because they always wanted to actually create tracks and record them and everything. They were a multi-instrumentalist that knew how to compose music and could sing female range opera. I forget the exact range that they specialized in.
Falsetto?
Yeah, it was like falsetto.
It wasn't soap opera.
No. But the person does get a little bit dramatic, to be honest. But yeah, so we started doing that, and we made a number of songs together. We made probably about 12, and then we actually released 6 of them. And we performed a number of times, not that many, but over 5 or 6, and we were a little duo, and that's what our little shtick was, that like I was the boy and my bandmate was the girl, and but it was a drag queen, and I would rap and sing, and I would sound very masculine, and I'm not like actually that good of a singer, but then my bandmate is actually a very good singer. And it worked. Like, people really liked it. Um, and the drag queen was black, actually, is the other interesting thing about all of it. So, and a lot of people knew that about me, like hundreds of people like thought of me as this person with this like intersectional as fuck band, man, like, but the thing is that my friend, my bandmate, we talked explicitly in private about how our band was inherently political in the way that it did have all these like identity politics connotations to it. Like, we were mixed race, we were gay, and we made the music ourselves entirely. There was not some like straight producer behind the scenes that really did it all, like made all the hard stuff happen. Like, we did absolutely everything. And
we're not the gay Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, in no way, shape, or form. Or even like Scissor Sisters, who like I don't know if I don't think any of the members are necessarily straight, but like Jake Shears is not the producer of that band. He doesn't like fucking produce the music. He writes, I think, a lot of it, and he sings it. But he's not the producer. I was the producer. I had a computer and a microphone, and that's how we made our music. Was like 100% in my bedroom, and so we were this autonomous thing, and it was like, yeah, we can do this. Other people can too. We're breaking these conceptions about, like, if you want to have a band, you have to get some like, people to be. No, you don't have to. You can do it by yourself, and it can be interesting, and it can be cool, and you can have you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can have a black man dress up as a woman and sing like a woman, and it will be awesome, and we talked about that. But we said, let's never make our band political. Let's never like talk about the politics. I think that would be tacky. I think that our work speaks on its own, and if people want to get that political message from us, they can. Cool. And I think that political message is better if we don't explicitly say it. We just say, hey, hope you like our music. you know. And so that's what we were like. And you know, it's a really a shame that the intersectionals came along, because we were doing that probably from 2010, 2011 to I think our release was in 2013. That's when we put it out. And as soon as we put it out, we like didn't really do a whole bunch more, and then we just sort of stopped doing songs together. Um, but the thing is about it was that like very soon after was when the intersectionality thing kind of took over the San Francisco Bay Area where we were, and people were trying to call everybody racist and privileged and saying that white people had privilege and everything. And I was at the epicenter of that type of culture because of that. Largely, I don't want to say because of that band, but just because I was one of these people that knew a whole bunch of racial minorities, you know, like all these people thought of me as like, oh yeah, you know, my name was not Prince back then, but like all these people were like, oh yeah, that Prince guy, he hangs out with a bunch of black people because you know, so when people started talking about white privilege, my head was on the chopping block first because I was the low hanging fruit. I was just there a lot, you know, and it was completely unfair. It was completely unfair. It was like the opposite of fair, because it was like people are like, yeah, and like that Prince guy thinks he's hot shit because he makes music and he thinks he's better than us, but he only gets to do that music because of white privilege. And it was like,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
At that point, you should have
no,
just released.
you know, the funny thing about it too was that the people who acted like that were because there were a few specific people who were like extra vehement about it. I am pretty much 100% positive that each and every one of those people were, and they were all drag queens, by the way. I'm pretty sure that they were just bitter because I didn't want to work with them.
Could
Because
be.
because I worked with a bunch of different queens, you know, like I didn't necessarily actually form a band and do repeated songs, but I did like one song for a bunch of different queens. And there was a lot of people that I just wasn't interested in. I just never said, "Hey, do you sing?" And I think that they were bitter, and so they were like, when it became easy to just attack white guys for being white, and I was just the one that they wanted to come after first because they were bitter for being rejected. But it was a shitty little period. But you know, I think that this when I was watching this queen get interviewed, one of the things that she said was that she's a big fan of Jordan Peterson, and one of the things that Jordan Peterson says that really stands out, at least in my memory, and I'm sure many people's, this has an impact, is that he doesn't consider himself brave necessarily. It's more that he's weighed the pros and the cons of not saying what he's saying and, you know, saying what he's saying, and that it just seems like the better option. He feels that he is going to be happier speaking his truth and standing up to these bullies, because if he didn't, he would become miserable and go insane. So he's telling the truth instead. And that's, I feel like, what this person is probably doing. They're sitting there and thinking like, look, it's just going to get worse and worse if I don't say anything. If I'm not going to, if I don't go and make an alliance with the freedom fighters, my reality in the drag scene is going to get worse and worse, and so I got to do it. And that's what's happening here. And so yeah, it's true, you have the professional reputation and everything that you have to worry about. You do, absolutely. But like, it's not like you have to find the problems with the SJWs. Don't worry, they'll find you.
And there's something to be said for showing to have some integrity, even if it does cost you some career points. Because think about like the screenwriters that named names during the McCarthy era. Right after the House of Un-American Committee, Un-American Activities Commission. I couldn't remember the name. After that went away, those people were never to be seen from again because people realized they had no integrity. They named names. They were not to be trusted.
Wait,
Well, that's a huge thing.
wait, explain that story because I actually don't know that story, and I imagine a lot of the audience doesn't either.
Oh, well, during, the McCarthy Red Scare in the 50s, where they were going through Hollywood trying to find all of the hidden communist writers, actors, producers, everyone.
And they did a fairly good job, but didn't find all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, there weren't actually that many communists in Hollywood at the time. I mean, yeah, there were some, but I mean, it was like a precursor to Me Too or racism and Nazis now. It's just
well, you know what though? Okay, a lot of people, because I made a whole video about my video thesis was called McCarthy Made Communism Cool. And I made it on account of the fact that I found out that my dad was an actual fucking communist in the 1950s, which I didn't know. And it was like a secret. My mom didn't even fucking know.
I remember it was a good video.
Yeah, and
crypto communists. The fascists didn't invent that shit. McCarthy was right. They were all crypto commies.
Well, so there was a lot of underground communists, and even during the McCarthy, because this was in the McCarthy era, when my dad was doing that, and people act like, oh, there wasn't really that many. Actually, there might have been. It was the 50s. It was easy to keep things underground. There wasn't fucking wiretapping, like.
It's true, but specifically in regards to Hollywood, the issue was that if you were an actor, writer, or producer that named names, because there was a good chance that at least half of the people that you were being asked to name were just unpopular. Like, it was very easy to just say, if someone was gay or they were an opponent to someone else, like they were like a professional enemy or something, it was very easy to just say they're communists, because how do you refute that? And if you were one of those people that named names, Hollywood did not want to work with you afterwards because they realized you couldn't be trusted.
Yeah, well, no one likes a snitch in the end, ultimately.
Snitches get stitches.
They should. Depending what it's about, though.
I mean, there are. I was gonna say it depends upon what it's about. There are circumstances in which it's worth naming somebody who, but like, okay, it's never a good idea to rat out your friends. Like, if you were a communist and then you decide to rat out other communists, then you're just a horrible person, because it's like you're just trying to save your own ass and sacrifice your friends in some stupid way. But if somebody is a irredeemably horrible person in some way that you never have been,
like a pedophile,
or just like they're a liar and you know it and other people don't know it, like, it's worthwhile to say so sometimes. Like,
you definitely got to choose your battles, but yeah. Well, does anyone else have anything else we want to talk about? The censorship and death of free speech for gays and everyone else in England, or should we move on to the main event?
Wait, let me think. Hold on.
Because the only thing I have left is to make fun of English accents, and that's not really.
I think I'm pretty sure we've done the English accents to death.
Can we try to make fun of Magdalene Burns' accent? That's one of my favorite ones.
Oh God.
I don't know if we should go there. That's.
You know what? To me, Magdalene Burns, it isn't her accent, which is hilarious. It's the fact that she appears to be on antipsychotic medication that makes her falling asleep all the time.
Yeah, like she's actually like, Mother's Little Helpers.
I mean, like, Beck has actual narcolepsy, and he's less drowsy sounding than she is.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because like she hasn't been making. I mean, I don't know if it's the brain tumor or if it's the fact that I,
beat her up intellectually.
Well, people were kind of suspecting that she was a liar after I was having the drama because I was, talking about it in terms of tweets. But then I proved it. Like I was like, no, she's talking about something that would literally be illegal. And she does it with a funny accent. Let's move on.
Seriously.
So, anyways, hope. Okay, fingers crossed. When this shows up, it won't be all fucked up. It didn't.
No.
Fuck you, OBS. Hold on, I have to make a new screen capture.
So should we, for the political compass, should we, the rest of us, show our results, or do we wait until you finish yours, Prince?
Because
we all
I don't
have
know.
it.
What audience? One for wait. No, I think that we should wait until it's over, and then we all reveal them all alongside each other somewhere if we can.
Sure.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that through the stream. I just need the compass image.
Okay, so
I'll send mine to you.
Where's the link to this?
I sent it on Twitter. Yeah, it's in our group chat on Twitter.
Okay. Oh my god. These country ass groups that I'm still in, I don't know how to fucking. I said that I didn't want a notification for them, but they still give me notifications. I don't know how to leave them. Twitter is
Let's beat their ass.
Twitter is literally like a nefarious operation. Like they did not want people to communicate. They wanted people to fight, and they wanted people to fight in the way that they wanted them to fight. And if you are good at avoiding fighting in the way that they want to fight, and actually somehow manage to, like, I don't know, draw people's attention to important things, then they're gonna fucking try to do their best to fuck with you. And I'm in their little fuck with sandbox or whatever, and it's awful. But everybody still uses it, so here I am, and let me find the thing.
What would you do, Prince, if you found out that there wasn't actually any kind of conspiracy, but literally it was just some sort of weird algorithmic error with your email address that caused YouTube, Twitter, and everything to fuck with you all the time? And it had nothing to do with anything.
It was a bug, and they like Susan Wojcinski gave me a personal phone call to apologize.
We're not censoring you. We're just incompetent.
She's like, I'd like to take you out to lunch at McDonald's, but instead here's a coupon.
What if that was just like their PR stunt? It's just forever. They just like accepted they were gonna be shitty, but then they just have their CEO be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. This all got out of control. It's just the algorithm. I swear. Here's a gift basket."
No, what would it be? Look, here's a membership to YouTube Red. You know.
Yes, it would be some sort of shit like that.
Full disclosure, I actually have YouTube Red. It's pretty awesome not to have to watch commercials. Plus, you get Google Music. I love it. But most people don't pay for it.
Yeah, I was like trying not to watch commercials for people, and then YouTube's like, yeah, we're giving you a 2-minute ad that you can't skip. So I'm like, yeah, fuck you, YouTube. I'm not watching your ads. Ad block is on. Damn it.
All right, you guys. So you should screen share the test. And I am on the first page now.
Wait, so we can't, it's not like in Hangouts. Prince can't just screen share from his end, can he? Because we're in OBS.
Yeah, if I do that, it'll break the call.
Okay, let's not do that.
Yeah,
that would suck.
I mean, I could still be here to entertain chat because my microphone is independent of you guys, but yeah, you guys would go away, or I would go away.
No, of course not. Yeah, so you screen share it separately, and you just click the boxes as I tell you to.
Okay.
Or do the wrong ones, and we'll find out what he isn't.
And remember, you guys, as I said at the beginning of the stream, some of you will not know this. I have made this into a drinking game, actually kind of drinking tonight. And the game is, so the reason that I've never taken the political compass test is because I can't. I literally can't, because they're fucking multiple choice questions. And I don't always, I just can't even answer them, because sometimes I'm like, this question feels like a trap to me, and I would want, it's kind of like I want to say D, none of the above, kind of a thing, and so that's why I've never taken it in the past, and I know that that's going to happen at some point. And so the game is that I am supposed to take a drink if I'm having trouble with a question, which, by the way, I am sort of taking drinks anyway, so whatever. But I'm going to take a full-on shot if I really just can't answer a question, and then just give my closest thing to it and move on. And so it might get weird. It might get
Are you
weird.
going to yell shot every time you take one?
Well, it's kind of hard to yell while drinking, but I'll do my best.
You can gargle.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's on screen right now, so I am following you along.
Okay. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Oh, Jesus, no. God, I love the transnational corporations.
But they're trans. They're obviously good.
Yeah. Actually,
what about the cisnatural corporations? Or cisnational?
That is so cisnationalistic.
So far, so good. I'm staying sober for the time being. I'm clicking strongly agree.
Okay.
And this is the one I've taken before because I remember that being the first question. So okay. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. I'm already taking a drink.
So which way do you want me to go on that one? Because I have to answer it.
I'm not. I really fucking don't know. So there's so many different scenarios. If your country is right or wrong, what the fuck does right or wrong mean?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, you
like
can only...
what the like. Okay, so we did some fucking bad shit. To who? How many fucking people? Who's mad at us as a result of this bad shit? Should we cover it up and face persecution from that bigger people? You know, like if we do some shit that pisses off Russia and it could go down, right? Should we try to cover it up because that's what the leader wants to do and like say, hey, we have 20 prisoners that know about this and we should just fucking kill them so that no one knows? Because otherwise we're going to start a civil war, global war. Or should we, you know, that's sort of the wrong thing to do. We did some wrong thing. We killed a innocent village or blah, you know what I mean? Like you could prevent a lot of deaths by doing the wrong thing. And
I think the only way that you can answer these kind of questions without having a moral coronary, Aiden Paladin took this exact test online, and she also had a similar reaction to you. A lot of the questions, she's like, who wrote this? But basically, I believe all you can do is just pick the answer which is closest to true for you, even if it's only vaguely. Like you're in order just to not break the test. Yeah. Or like for something
okay, so yeah. I am gonna say disagree on this one. Just because I certainly wouldn't say I always support my country whether it's right or wrong. But I would. I mean, I still care about my country. So I certainly don't strongly disagree, you know. But I also don't want to say I strongly agree because I also want to be very critical or I strongly agree or agree because I also want to be very critical of every action that we take.
Well,
so no one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I would say, okay, I'm taking another drink.
I'm getting out the backup liver just in case.
I would say honestly that I actually strongly disagree to that one, and it's simply because I think that nobody should tell anybody like what to be proud of at all. You know, like if you have male pattern baldness and you want to be proud of that, like fine, You know, like why? Like that's just it just seems dumb to me to even fucking think about that. So yeah. Okay. Oh, good God. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. They're forcing me to fucking answer that. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you really?
The ADL's
Really?
watching.
I know, right? Fucking okay, I gotta take a shot now. Because I don't, there's no way. Like, I've actually studied genetics. Like, I've taken 2 different genetics classes, and my eldest sister, who's like psycho but actually a genius, she was doing graduate studies in genetics for a while, and um the things about genetics is that it's way more complicated than layman's than layman's know. It really is. There's this alt-right channel called like Alternative Hypothesis that was like trying to talk about like race mixing and alleles and how it's actually bad because it creates ugly children or some dumb shit like that. And it's like, well, I don't know. I think Rihanna's pretty cute. Like, shut up. You know, and like,
Although she can never be forgiven for the Umbrella song.
I like Umbrella.
It was good the first 300 times, but once it gets in your head, it's like syphilis. Once
You know
it
what?
gets
She
in you, it never
shouldn't
gets
be
out.
forgiven for fucking allowing Jay-Z to be the rapper that was in that song. But Jay, yeah, he's the one who produced it and gave her a platform. So
he bought her, didn't he?
I don't know. He's the pimp of Rihanna, and whatever. We can forgive her. She did what she needed to do. Jay-Z's a pimp. He's not a great rapper, but he's a pimp. So
your final answer.
No. I have to hash this out. The thing is about. Oh, and I'm having to go get like a shot glass. Hold up.
Does anyone have a? Do they have Uber but with dialysis?
Give Silicon Valley time. They will. It'll only be $1,000 for every 5 minutes.
It'll be very popular in Ireland.
So the thing about genetics is that the way that any species evolves is by crossbreeding divergent what's the word I'm looking for? Phenotypes, right? And so in order for evolution to even fucking happen, things that are relatively different need to breed, right? So you have to actually have outliers from each population mixing, which is, the statement opposites attract. That didn't just come from fucking nowhere. Like, that does happen a lot of the time. And, it can be true. Like, okay, I'll admit, like, for the most part, I am attracted to white guys, right? I've dated guys who weren't white in the past, but for the most part, I'm attracted to white guys. Sure. But there are these like occasional like fucking Nigerian princes that I would totally have sex with, but it's rare. But like, I'm sure if you go over to Nigeria, it's not necessarily that there's a whole lot of them, but then if you do hang out a whole bunch, there's these guys that are like actually really smart, because the Nigerian people are actually largely pretty smart,
Their
overall.
accent is beautiful. I love there are so many Nigerians in the medical industry, so I love Nigerian accents.
Yeah, and so they tend to be like the people thought of as the most sort of prestigious African nation, in the way that there's lots of immigrants from Nigeria that come over and they do pretty well, and they're pretty smart. And I don't, so like when people say race, it's like, are we talking about Nigerians or are we talking about Somalians? Like, let's get real. Like, and that's where I start getting annoyed, and it becomes really hard for me to answer these questions, and I hate it, and I don't think it's productive, and it's like which people, and also like so are there superior things about white people? I don't know which white people. Like, they're
I don't think the point of the question is to actually answer that, but literally just to think. Like they ask, a lot of these questions are just to gauge your reaction.
Mhm.
It's sort of like a political Rorschach test. There's not really a right or wrong answer. They just want to see what kind of a person you are by the way you react. That's
Well,
how
my reaction is fuck off. You're
So that
putting
would be a strongly disagree.
like, well, is that what it is though? Because no, my reaction is like, why? Like, what do you really want to know? Like what? Because you set up a premise that doesn't make sense in my mind. Like you
strongly disagree with it.
I guess. I guess so. That's the closest thing to it. I see what you're saying, and I'm gonna take a shot, and then we're gonna move on. Like I said.
Prince, if it's any consolation, when I was taking it a while ago, about half of them could have easily been answered by a non-existent choice, which is, what the fuck kind of question is that?
I will say
I got my little lime and everything.
Put the lime in the coconut and drink it all around. Put the lime in the coconut.
Okay.
Oh, my eye.
All right.
Bacon.
Yes.
I just felt like saying bacon.
God damn you guys.
Okay. I will put strongly disagree.
For the enemy of my
the enemy. What? Yeah. I'm what?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
Strongly disagree about being alt-right or whatever.
It's okay. We know who you really are.
Wow.
So
you secret Nazi.
yeah. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Strongly disagree because no, that's fucking stupid as hell. Like that's just dumb. Like who? No, you don't fucking. That's not how you make friends.
It is on Star Trek.
That's how you make allies. And people don't understand what the word ally means.
Yeah.
Because everyone's trying to redefine it every 3 seconds.
Yeah, so they can start ordering people around, and it's like, no, fuck off. That's fucking stupid. So strongly disagree on that one. I don't even have to take a fucking swig of my margarita.
Well, I was gonna say on that front, the enemy of my enemy could also be a blue-haired rabid feminist, and I know that bitch will backstab me.
Yeah, because they all hate each other. It's not like they don't. It's not like they get along.
Well, actually, you don't have to worry about getting stabbed by a feminist, specifically because knives are phallic shaped, so they're not going to use them.
And besides, you're not going to get stabbed by them. You didn't give consent to be penetrated by them.
Well, he's a man. He doesn't need to give consent.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget.
Yeah. She's counter raping his with
like
a blade.
gardening little like shovelers to.
What is a non-phallic weapon a feminist could use?
A gun.
An enveloping weapon.
Yeah, I know. Hold on. No, I was about to say. No. You guys, I got it. It's
what is
a really, really fucking strong vacuum cleaner.
Dude, this reminds me. I want there to be like some kind of RPG. It could be tabletop. It could be whatever. But like where the class is like you can either be a neckbeard or like a radical feminist, and like you finally join forces to defeat traditionalism.
Oh, holy shit! We have to do this.
All right.
Oh god.
Okay, so back to the test.
Yeah, sorry. I'm grabbing some more ice cubes because they keep melting.
Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. What do you think?
I was thinking agree because honestly, first of all, there's stupid international laws, and also rules are made to be broken. Am I right? Because I don't really think that there's all that many. I mean, there's definitely rules that you shouldn't break, but like sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And you can always find exceptions, and that's how the universe works.
A good rule is to break bad rules.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But then you have to break that rule too, which means you have to. It's an infinite regressive loop. There's no end to it.
Well, I didn't say that that should be a rule. That's good wisdom.
True.
Let's see. Next question. So, oh yeah, by the way, I said agree about that one. So
Yeah, I got it.
there is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. I would strongly agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I just like that they use the word fusion. It's my favorite word.
Of a
Really?
failing, of a
Not
failing
really, no.
news agency.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What did you say? I didn't hear
Of
that.
a failing news agency.
So hold up, I'm pouring some margarita mix in my little drinky drink.
Prince's
Okay.
blood alcohol level is climbing into double digits.
Yeah, okay.
Is the decimal point going in forward now? So,
people are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. Shit, I have to definitely take a drink for this. How do I say that?
I think the key to these is to not try to overthink them.
Oh no, no, buddy. I have to overthink these. This is one of these ones where I have to, but it's fine actually. No, I can answer this one though. I would say agree overall because ultimately we are living in an increasingly globalized world, and the people who come from families that are wealthy enough to send them to schools overseas have a drastic edge over other people. And I've known a lot of foreign students, and I've been to a lot of foreign countries and known a lot of people who've done similar things. And the way that actually, you know what, I would say strongly agree now that I think about it this more. I'm starting to feel like due to the internet and due to the accessibility of plane flights and cities and Airbnbs and Craigslist apartments for living temporary short periods of time, you can relocate fairly easily and like learn a new language on YouTube and like all this crap. Like you can do that.
Or not even learn the language, just let Google talk for you.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I did.
yeah, if you have the money. And so like there's these people who have these frequent flyer miles provided by their parents and fucking green cards provided by whatever school their parents pay for and everything, and it does become this weird mixing thing, and so I would say more by class than by nationality. It doesn't mean that nationality isn't important, but nationality is mostly something of lower class. Like nationality is what you have when you don't get to be a global elite.
I don't think it's controversial to say that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what color you are. It matters if you're rich or poor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the
like
color that matters is green.
Yeah. So, do you understand why I wanted to like really think that through? Because I actually ended up strongly agreeing as opposed to agreeing.
I see and acknowledge.
Okay. So, the next question. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Have to take a drink. Let me think about that. I would say disagree. I can't say strongly. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because I just have to accept that I don't know enough about national economics.
They're
You know,
complicated.
yeah, they're very, very complicated, and even the people that think that they know a whole bunch about them end up being wrong a lot. So, I just don't know that much about it.
Well,
But I want to say,
well, economists are like rabbis. You can lock 3 of them in a room and come out with 10 different opinions.
Or a
yeah,
freak.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
the
yeah.
real economists who are Austrian economists who have had the same story the whole time and have been right about literally everything.
Mm.
You know who should.
Okay, now,
We'll get into that in the after chat.
I don't want to get too into this one because it's not one that I know a lot about, and you guys could start arguing about it a lot. But like, I would just sit there and be like, yeah, I can see both sides. I can like, because this, I believe it or not, aside, even though I don't talk about it on my channel, I actually do think about this stuff a lot. Um, it's just that for me, the verdict is still very, very far out. And I do think that people, that nations should be dealing with unemployment, and I really, really do. But I think that they need to worry about their economy and their fucking whether their money is fucking worth something to the rest of the world. Like it's just fucking naive to fucking think that they should not. So I would say disagree, simply because I don't think that you should quantify. I don't think it should be a contest. Ultimately, is what I would say. Um, but I'm certainly not going to say strongly disagree, because that would imply that like no, unemployment matters. Unemployment, you fucking capitalist scum pig motherfucker. Like no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just
Black jobs matter.
yeah, that's not my point. I'm just saying that like I just disagree that one is more important than the other.
Would you say that all jobs matter, Prince?
No.
Well, that's just. I don't even know what to say.
Economically racist.
Some people are good at astrophysics, and some people are good at fruit packing. No,
Fruit packing? That's an interesting. That's a very interesting example to use on the Gaytriarchy.
That's the healthier version,
Fudge
as
packing.
opposed to fudge or anything like that.
Yeah, it's
and some people are good at rentboy.com is what I really meant to say. So okay,
Rent Boy.
let's move on. Okay. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Agree. I have to say I agree with that.
Look at China.
And it's unfortunate because like we wish, as people who want to let the free market jurisdict these things, like we wish that natural selection would work this stuff out, but it doesn't. It just fucking doesn't. You spend enough time watching businesses rise from being startups into like mega empires, and seeing the way they start first fucking over their workers, and then next fucking over their customers, and then if they get big enough, fucking over like the cities. Yeah, everyone. They don't fucking care. Like they will literally do, like, the empire just destroys anything and everything in its path, and they do. And so you have to regulate them somehow, and often government ends up being the only fucking thing that'll do it, which is kind of what we're running into right now with internet fucking censorship. Like Facebook, Google, they're acting like fucking goddamn Stalin. And like people are saying, how do we stop them? And we're like, I don't know. Does the government have to do it? Well, we don't want that, but maybe we do, because nobody else has a solution.
I kind of view businesses a lot like children. Like they're not inherently good or bad. They need reasons and structure in order to behave a certain way. But but often, like if you leave a kid in a candy store long enough, there's a good chance that child is going to get a cavity.
It's a really good way of putting it. It's just like, you can fucking, oh shit. I'm sorry, I'm just grabbing a cable so I can plug my headset in because it's starting to go low on battery. Yeah, like everybody, you know, you're being the stern father right there, and in this scenario, in this description, and Caps, no offense, Derek, are being the nurturing mother and expecting the best out of their kid to be like, no, Billy said that he doesn't like to overeat candy. He told he told me that he likes to eat candy only after dinner. He has one piece of, you know, and the dad is like, bitch, come on. When I was his age, I was smart enough to know to tell you that, and I was lying. Okay? Like, and he's like, but he doesn't lie to me. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Okay, I know little boys. I used to be one. He's lying. You know, like,
woman, look under his bed. There's a pile of candy wrappers 3 feet tall. Which, if you ever vacuumed, you know about.
Like, anytime you advocate a government solution, not only does that need to be like a morally permissible answer, it needs to be the only morally permissible answer. And if it ended up being wrong, like it's consequentialist too. So you also have to be like Cleopatra, like fucking predict, not Cleopatra, Miss Cleo. I mean, the real Cleo. You have to be psychic,
a lot of
and you have to like know the only solution that could ever happen, and that there's absolutely no other way than, like, for example, one particular parent's exact approach to solving that problem.
Wait, wasn't Miss Cleo arrested for fraud?
She also was not.
She didn't see that coming.
Cleo is going to get arrested for fraud. In the future, they're going to look down on people who advocated for government because they're going to be like, how did you think this was necessary?
Okay, so here's the thing, though, Derek. You get to say that from your nice little like philosophy degree perspective, where you get to look back on things and like contemplate them from afar and everything. And you're always somebody that's like, I don't want to say removed from reality and everything, but you don't have a problem like being kind of antisocial and everything. Like, I know that about you. People have to fucking make decisions, and lots are riding on those decisions. And sometimes sometimes people are suffering and nobody is intervening. And the government decides that they just need to do something to make it end. And yes, there will be problems as a result of the government's decisions. And corrupt politicians will get in there and start leveraging those decisions for their own personal gains. And some new fucking weird fucked up government problem will come somewhere, you know, in a few years, blah, 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 blah. And you get to look back, hindsight, it's 2020. Oh, we should have handled this differently. But that's not how things are day to day. And you get old enough and you realize that.
It's important to remember that, like, even if the government didn't handle the crisis correctly, to look back, it's like, oh wait, the water was on fire. Like, so someone had to do something. Was it the perfect solution? No, but hey, at least the water isn't on fire anymore.
Like,
yeah, but you use that as your excuse for going in and preventing other people from having a peaceful solution, and then you're the one in hindsight going in and saying, well, look, only the government was there. But like, it's just begging the question. It's an elementary logical fallacy. You're just
wait. Okay, but like in the case of what I'm talking about right now, where is anybody with any sort of solution about how to stop Susan Wojcicki? Nobody's preventing these motherfuckers from getting their little idea across.
Yeah, but that's in your status quo, where we have a government.
Okay.
What is that? Like, what? Like, oh, so I'm sorry. Like, somebody over in Ancapistan has some really great idea about how to deal with Susan Wojcicki, but they're being oppressed by the status quo of people who have government.
That's not relevant.
No.
What I'm saying is that it's just simply that we don't have any options, and people are actively being oppressed, and the options keep getting less and less and less as time goes on. People keep getting silenced as time goes on, and it's like, honestly, maybe somebody just needs to do something, and I wish it didn't have to come to that. Everybody wishes it didn't have to come to that, but fucking hell, maybe that's what happens. And I want to move on because this is about my opinions.
Talk about this all the time.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons I hate taking these tests. Is like I hate having to like be pushed into these boxes and everything. So okay.
What was your answer?
So mine was agree on the because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. And I said agree, just because I feel that,
Generally.
yeah, I feel that there are times in which there needs to be some regulations.
And that's the thing about a 20 question test is you can't get too bogged down. The questions can't be super precise because it's 20 questions. A lot of a question, like a survey that was excuse me, scientifically in depth and accurate would have to be like 200 or 300 questions.
It should be a scale of 1 to 10. First of all, I don't know why it's not. Because that one should have. I would have probably put like.
I agree.
A 6.
It might have just made the metric too complicated, which is probably why they made it this way.
I'll have a bitch fit over the structure of this after we're done with it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay, so from each according to his ability to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here with that commie shit. I know where this is going. No, that's so wrong and on so many level. Like, who gets to define what need is? Like, what is a need? Like, that's a need is what a fucking gay husband says when
he wants a blowjob.
Yeah, a need is what his gay husband says when his husband gets mad at him for coming home at 5 a.m. Like,
I need you to tell me what just happened, or I will die.
Well, honey, I have my needs. Which is like whatever. That's fine, but it's a way of saying a certain thing, or it's you need to breathe oxygen before you die. Those are the two extremes, and
I don't breathe oxygen. There's too much gluten in it.
Yeah. And then from each according to his ability. What the fuck does that even fucking mean? Like, on what mood am I in? Like, I can do a lot if I set my mind to it, but like, do I have to all the fucking time? In a little commie land, I would obviously have to. Obviously, you'd want me to be clean and sober and doing all the fucking like intellectual heavy lifting for you motherfuckers. I'm not necessarily going to do it because some dumbass thinks that they deserve me to do that all the time. So shut the fuck up.
Actually, you won't be doing intellectual work, Prince. The Politburo has decided that you will be cleaning the chairman's toilets.
Yeah, because I would. Because otherwise I would, usurp the chairman. If they knew how smart I was, then I would be the new aristocracy. Clearly, I'm starting to get drunk. I'm talking highly about myself.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
Before we lose Prince entirely.
It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product. I guess agree, and this would be just slightly over 5. Do I agree with this one?
It's a light agree. It's a tap.
Yeah, it's a tap. It's just like, well, I guess like. What
that's more like a sure as opposed to a yes.
It just seems like some fucking dumb, like, I don't know,
postcard.
Yeah, it's like it's some question that they would ask you before you go into a yoga class or something.
It's a bit Tumblr.
Oh, Tumblr.
All right.
Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I have to take a drink for this.
I wonder where that one came from. I know a certain kind of people that answer that question in a certain kind of way.
Ironically, there's actually a group of libertarians that think that, so it's not necessarily communist.
True.
Yeah, I
Okay.
hate libertarians.
So land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I'm inkling on saying that probably I disagree with that. And my reasoning is this. Land is ultimately we have our territory, right? We have to, as a great mind once said, we all have to clean our rooms. And we have our place, we have our space that is going on. And it just seems to me that like ultimately, as much as it would be really, really great if there was infinite land and we could all just sort of like find a new space and we have to like settle upon this place is ours. And then once, how do we define that? Well, do you have enough money to proclaim it yours? So yeah, I disagree with that, but I don't enthusiastically disagree with that because like I can see what they're saying. I just don't think that it's realistic.
It would have been a very different question, say, 200 or 300 years ago, when there was, in theory, a lot more. There were a lot fewer people and a lot more, theoretically, unoccupied land.
Yeah.
But not now.
All right. So, is it regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society? Strongly agree. Yeah, I strongly agree with that. I think that I think it's regrettable. I don't propose a solution. And see, this is another oh God. See, like I say I strongly agree, but then wait, regrettable.
It's not saying you
It's a
care
weird
to do anything about it. Just
Yeah,
saying you
well, no,
agree
and
with
regrettable and regret is implies that I would do it differently.
Well, I mean,
Hold on. No, okay, so I have to say disagree then. Because no, regrettable is a very specific word. And it would say, is it unfortunate or is it sad? But regrettable implies that I'm saying that we should have set it up so that this couldn't happen. Do you see what I'm saying?
I follow you, I think.
Well, okay, is it regrettable that personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money?
Soros.
Well, or any investor.
Or like bankers.
Yeah, people like bankers and currency. I have relatives who are currency investors who just invest in foreign currencies, buy when it's low, sell when it's high. And they look at the general economic trends of the nation, and they, and it's like,
It's a service, yeah.
well, I no, yeah.
It's like literally, it's like sex and rape are wrong. Strongly agree or strongly disagree, and I'm like, well, wait.
So, it's unfortunate. Like, I think that's lame. Like, when I found out that my cousin did that and was like actually doing well for himself doing that, I was like, that's crappy. I don't want to be like that. And my dad was like, good, because I think the same. That's why I'm a computer scientist. I feel like I'm providing something to this world. And your uncle's a cunt, for the record, and that's why his son's like that, But like, I also don't think that my cousin shouldn't be allowed to do that to make his living necessarily. So I don't want to say a regrettable. So this would be like a slight 4, in my disagreement.
Hey, Prince, I actually looked up what regrettable versus unfortunate. Would you like to know what the internet says?
Yeah.
It says people have confused them so often by using regretfully as a sentence adverb to mean unfortunately. That is kind of okay to do now. Both words look behind them and wish something else had happened, but regrettably is when it's not your fault, and regretfully is when you're full of it. Actually, that's
What about unfortunate?
Okay, that was just a little snippet at the top of the Google search bar. That was less clear than it. Okay, so yeah, here's the two comparisons.
That didn't sound accurate at all.
No,
I don't think whoever wrote that is very smart.
No, I just skipped that and I went to a different website now. Okay, so this one actually has the two different definitions right next to each other. So
okay, please, yeah.
So regrettable, English, adjective of an event, action, or state allowing or deserving regret. His painting his name of my car was more than regrettable. It was criminal.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, adjective, not favored by fortune, marked or accompanied by resulting in misfortune.
Yeah. So I'm happy with my decision to
there you go.
To say disagree, because the word regrettable is very specific, and I think about my life and I think about, do I have regrets, do I not have regrets, and that's very different than, is it unfortunate that fucking thing happened to me one time? Well, sure, yeah, it was unfortunate, absolutely. Do I regret it? Well, no, I would make the same decision again. So protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. What does protectionism mean? What does that even fucking mean?
That's like
wait, protectionism, protection and rough trade. What?
It's like setting up tariffs and shit.
Yeah, it's tariffs basically.
I don't know what that is.
Well, no, it's
taxes on imports.
Well, specifically, it's the
okay.
Tariffs are used when a country wants to protect one of its own industries from being overwhelmed by foreign competition.
So basically, if we slap a tariff on German steel to keep them from competing with our domestic steel companies.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I would say strongly agree. Like, yeah, that's absolutely necessary if you think about the resources from certain countries as compared to other countries, and how much they could just have a certain country by the balls if they could provide something that the other country desperately needs. You have to do that sometimes, and it's just one of those things that, like, you wish you didn't until you lived in some small country that mostly gets along fine, but then has this one thing missing from their country and they desperately need it, and it becomes their heroin, and that's fucked that some other country could exploit that. Well,
another example of that is like when you have a country where there's a large group of people who are employed in a certain trade or service, and then a foreign country starts exporting its own cheaper version of that, and an entire group of people ends up losing their jobs as a result of this cheaper foreign commodity coming in. It has ups and downs.
That's part of it. That's that's part of what I'm saying. It's like they have them by the balls, and it's not. It's not okay. And people, and that's one of those things that, like, government.
That's where the government comes in.
Yeah, that's why we have governments. That's why governments aren't going away.
They're kind of necessary.
Yeah. So the only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. I strongly disagree with that. Well, wait, hold up. No, I don't want to answer that. Get off the answer. Okay.
You can't get rid of the
drink.
answer.
No, it's not you. It's just okay. So I haven't answered it yet. Okay, this might be one I have to take a shot for. Because I can't answer that question. The reason why I can't answer that question is because I don't think that anyone gets to define what a social responsibility is for a company or a person. Like, what the fuck is a social responsibility?
I think it's just a clumsy way of saying, like, the only thing a company has to worry about, the company itself, is whether or not it makes money for its shareholders.
That feels like a technical responsibility to me, or like a legal responsibility to me.
It's basically asking, does, like, Walmart, for instance, owe the towns they operate in more than just, doing whatever it is they're doing, or are they only required to do whatever?
I know what it's asking. I know what it's asking. I'm explaining that like
Yeah.
it's not a question that
Yeah.
I get that I think is okay to answer. I don't think that I don't think that if they asked me to revise this question for them, it would be like 300 words long.
Mhm.
And then no one would take the question.
Yeah, because it's like you don't get to just ask such a thing
Mhm.
as if it's a fucking little teeny fucking question, because that's a huge question.
Mhm.
Huge question. Hold on. I you guys talk about something for a second while I go cut up another little lime slice, because I can't answer that question. It's not fair.
Okay.
Talk
I
amongst
just have a quick,
yourselves.
if you don't mind, I just have a quick thought on this one, and then actually I'm gonna probably hop off because I agreed to take an earlier shift tomorrow, so I'm gonna be at work in 6 hours. So,
Okay.
but yeah, with this one here, the ideal solution is that if you have a culture of consumer choice and consumer responsibility, where people vote with their wallets, when people perceive that a company is acting unethically, then they prefer not to support it. Like the Chick-fil-A controversy was one where people had a really great opportunity, right, to vote with their wallet. And I think Chick-fil-A actually came out ahead on that one, which I think is kind of funny. But but that's kind of one way to look at this, where like you can actually package things in such a way that if they're focusing on profits, if everybody kind of understands that and starts to move in that direction, then you can actually guarantee and create a lot of pressure for those other social responsibilities. And then the question of who defines it becomes, you want to get money from your company, for your from your consumers, and they become the people who you're responsible to. So it's all very obvious, I think. I don't know.
Wait, so I heard you sort of say something, and like, yeah, this is something I've thought about. Like, ultimately, ooh, that was more than a shot. I should really only have half of that.
Was that a
Uh,
cannon?
So the question kind of ends up being, um, um, that the market will decide if they want to give money because they decide that they think that this company is a good company, because people will invest in buying more from that company if they think that fucking that company does good things, blah 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 blah. Oh great, yeah, that sounds like a perfect solution, except for like there's entire industries of PR designed to make companies look really good. Look at fucking breast cancer research. I play Overwatch, and I guess it's like breast cancer awareness month, and so they have an entire skin for Mercy, the angel healer, who her character is the healer who can resurrect characters, and she has really big tits. And so
Do they explode randomly?
no, that's not how breast cancer works.
It
But
can in a video game.
so they're like, pay $15 and buy this skin, and all the money goes to breast cancer research. We're such a good video game company, blah 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 blah. And it's just like, fucking hell, like oh, that's some social responsibility right there. Well, that's cool, and like more people, but it works. That shit works. People think that it's like, I have all sorts of teammates that I play with, and they're all lapping it up, like they're thinking, oh, that's so cool, and it's funny because there's a player icon that's come along with it. Like, okay, so when you're playing Overwatch, you have your little name, your screen name. So I'm actually Prince of Queens on the PS4 network, and when you play Overwatch, when you get paired up against people, it shows you each other, like who is versus who, and Overwatch works in teams of 6. So it's like this 6 people versus this 6 people, battle to the death, and it sort of shows at the beginning, and you get to look and say, oh shit, I know that person. Careful, he's really good at playing the ninja. He will sneak up on your ass and fuck you up, and when it's in that opening screen, when it shows the names, you get a player icon, and they gave you one at the beginning during this event, this month or whatever. of breast cancer awareness. So everybody can select their player icon to be this pink thing, right? And like the majority of people I know have all done it, right? They all want to have the pink breast cancer awareness thing, and that's what they want to do. And that's fine with me. I don't care if they do that. Like, I don't care about raising money for breast cancer. It's something that, hurts my feelings because, like, no, technically, my mom had breast cancer, and people should do all cancer research, obviously, especially considering, if they discover something really great, it might apply to other forms of cancer. So, like, obviously, I want, breast cancer research to happen. But at the same time, I decided to make my little player icon blue. And there's a specific reason for that, which is prostate cancer, which gets less than half of the funding and kills more people. And but regardless, the whole point that I'm trying to make here is that, like, this video game company is able to do this, like, virtue signaling, pandering thing, and it's working on people. Like, they're thinking in their head that, oh, isn't Blizzard Games such a cool company? They actually care about things that matter. And it's like, well, not really, because ultimately the charity that they're giving money to is headed by the woman who's like the head businesswoman of Estee Lauder, and this is her, like, side business, is this breast cancer research thing, and she probably rakes in, like 75% of the money as profits for her and her little friends that work for the company. And, like, so when I say the only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders, I would say disagree. I think that ultimately my way of framing social means some sort of morality. That's what I think of when I think of social, and how you behave with other people. And like, if you go into the business venture with the mentality of nice guys finish last, maximize profits, blah 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 blah, and you never deviate from that, you're never going to actually make the world a better place for humanity. Humanity will not evolve. You might not become the biggest company ever, but you can still succeed. Like, nice guys might not finish. Okay, I don't agree that nice guys finish last. Nice guys might finish second place, but they won't fucking collapse dead from a heart attack after the race because they were taking steroids. If that makes sense. All right. Moving on to the next ones. Oh, I didn't take the shot. Sorry.
Oh.
So yeah, but that was a question I couldn't answer ultimately because of the fact that I don't like the word social. Like, what the fuck does that even really mean? Like, it's just it's annoying. It's annoying. Like, I think that what they meant was kind of technical, and they replaced it with social, and that's
The actual answer was Eurovision.
Yes.
All of the answers are Eurovision and coffee.
I know the answer to the next one. The answer is strongly agree, because everyone's too highly taxed, because taxation is theft. Zero exception.
No, I think
And
taxations are not collected, they are taken by force. If you defend taxation, please defend it in those terms.
Excuse me, Derek, I need to disagree with you. Taxation cannot melt steel beams.
Yeah, and it can't fake Sandy Hook either.
Okay, thank you. It took you a second to get the joke. Okay, so
I caught up. Anyway, but yeah, I'm actually legit
the research
right now, so I'm leaving because I have to go to bed.
Can you
keep it easy? I
Can you
hope you
send
make
your
it
card?
through this. I think someday. I think you guys might make it through this weekend if you at this rate. I'll cross my fingers for you.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
Yeah,
Space
It's
Fan,
gonna be like a fucking 10-hour stream. It's gonna be amazing.
Space Fan, can you send your compass result to Bacon, please?
I already have it.
Oh, I think I did.
I
No,
have
it
all
Okay,
of
never
them.
mind. He already has it.
highly authoritarian because like the problem I have is like I'm like, okay, governments are retarded, but if you're gonna force me to have one in this stupid fucking question, then yeah, like grow some chest hairs and don't be a pussy about it. So then they think I'm like a total fucking just like Nazi, like complete authoritarian communist, and it's just like not fair.
Yeah, see, okay, we have problems with this test for differing reasons, but like sort of a similar thing. Like they're trying to force us into saying things that we don't want to say, and I meet you there, brother.
Oh, no doubt.
Sleep well, Eurovision.
Yeah, man, you guys keep it easy. Put the word to the mother and keep it easy.
I'm too white. I don't know what that means.
All right, so the rich are too highly taxed. I don't fucking know. I don't care. Like,
So
I don't. It's like, okay. What country are we in? Who are we taxing? Drinking a little bit. Hold on. Like it's just a stupid. I'm gonna say disagree because I'm not committed to that, and I think that it's a stupid question, and I'm getting sick of like that. There's so much relativity going on with that. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah. So those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Okay, strongly agree.
Okay. I have one.
Fucking-
I have one issue with. I take issue with the word "should" in this because it seems to be implying an entitlement, not necessarily I can pay for. So I have an
Wait,
issue with
those
should.
with the ability to pay should.
Yeah, it's saying should. It's not saying can have. It's. I don't know. It seems to be implying something to me more than just can.
Can. I don't know what can would mean.
you know what word I have a problem with this? Those.
Mhm.
I find that word very offensive.
Is it too gender
Okay.
neutral?
I think we all understand what they mean by the question,
Yeah.
and I strongly agree with it. If
Okay.
you have fucking money, you should be able to fucking buy shit with your money. That's a dumb question. Like,
Well, you
let's-
will, regardless. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's why the fucking commies are dumb, because even within communism, capitalism emerges
Mhm.
every fucking time, and they're so fucking stupid because they're so oh god. So
Anyways.
governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. I would say strongly agree. Actually, well, wait, hold up. Hold up.
As a
Let me think.
general principle,
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a drink because I'm thinking.
you're like Bender. It fuels your power cell.
Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Should the public penalize them themselves? And okay, I'm gonna say agree, because it's mostly the impetus on the public to boycott, raise awareness, things like that, and the public will probably do that. But like, if there's like a really, really bad instance of something, the government might have to get involved a little bit.
Like those
Like
Chinese pet food companies that were putting formaldehyde in the pet food.
or like with YouTube, for example. YouTube is ultimately doing something that's probably illegal in the way that they are fucking over people that have contracts with them. The content creators like myself who get paid to do YouTube sign contracts, and we expect a certain amount of money based on advertising. But if they're unsubbing our subscribers, not showing our subscribers notifications, demonetizing videos for reasons that they won't tell us, giving me hate speech strikes for reasons that they won't tell us until at least after the fucking fact, all these fucking things, like that is a problem. You know, YouTube is running a shitty fucking business, and if the government needs to fucking step in because they're the only person that's going to do something about that, it's like, well, we should sue YouTube. Okay, well, the court is government. The court is one of the branches of our government, So, like, I can't say I don't agree with that. It would be a lie.
Also, it's not like it's not like there's a non-governmental solution, because the classic argument is we'll just use another platform. Well, in this business, which one? There
Yeah,
isn't a
effectively
legitimate
monopoly.
second choice.
Yeah, and also what happens in Ancapistan when some people try to create another platform and YouTube sends hackers to fuck over all of their servers.
Yeah.
Or just buys the company that they're trying.
Yeah, okay, so I said agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to say strongly agree, because that implies a little bit of like overreach. But I agree. So next, a genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. I would say agree with that. Like, because because every different market has its own like distinct understanding of its own local economy and stuff, and multinationals can exploit those in weird, complicated ways, and
And in some countries, very violent ways.
yeah, like they realize, like what we were talking about earlier with the having the countries by the balls,
Mm-hmm.
like they could create a monopoly in a certain country by like realizing that they can be the only person to provide this thing to this resource to the country, and then everybody will be working for them.
Well, monopoly's not a market, so it's the
What's that?
a monopoly's not a market. That's the easiest way to put that.
Yeah. Okay. So the freer the market, the freer the people. Strongly disagree. That's dumb.
Because the totally free market leads to monopolies, which defeats.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Like that's just like shut up. Okay. Hey,
abortion should
like,
always be illegal.
Any little thing like that, it's like if it rhymes, it's like you're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like it's like that's not an actual statement. It's a fucking rhyme for fucking people that are wanting to chant in the streets because they are mad about something or something. I don't fucking know. Or chant on the internet, really.
The freer the market,
oh my god, it took me this long to get to this. Okay.
Page 3.
Yeah, Derek is right. I understand why he left.
What number are we on?
We're on page 3.
Page 3 of 6.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, well, I'm drunker now, so I'm going to be more cautious about, or less cautious about how this works. So, abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Well, I should say, I disagree, but I don't strongly disagree because, fuck feminists and fuck women who think that they just get to go around having sex without condoms and acting like they can just entrap men into thinking that, and blah blah blah. And also and also fuck women who think that like killing an unborn fetus just doesn't matter at all. It does actually. Like you have to think about some shit. Take some fucking personal responsibility. So fuck you.
Okay.
Like I don't fucking care. I went to Japan actually when I was 17, and one of the places that I visited outside of Tokyo was a shrine for dead babies, and it had thousands of little concrete babies built next to each other. They looked like kind of like the Russian dolls that are inside of dolls.
Matryoshka dolls.
Yeah, and they all represented a dead baby. Most of them had died from abortions, and their women would come once a year on the year that the baby had died, I'm starting to cry a little bit. You guys might be able to hear it in my voice because it was actually really moving.
That's very Japanese.
They would come once a year and put like little
Incense.
maybe, but like baby clothes and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so you could, if you go visit there, you'll see that. Like each one represents a dead baby, and most of them were abortions, and that's how much they care about their abortions in Japan. It's not something that they want to do. And so when you think about it in those terms, and I've had friends who've had abortions that are really, so okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Because otherwise I'll start crying.
That will be a bad way to end the stream.
Yeah. So all authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. That's easy. And that makes me feel a little bit better that was the next question. Okay. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Strongly disagree. That's dumb. That's simpleton's logic.
You know Gandhi's response to that, don't you?
No.
An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
Well, of course, yeah. I do know that. I think it's more like an eye. You take my eye and I steal your soul. That's my reaction. Because it's just
doesn't have a soul. Like bacon doesn't have a soul.
Hey, I'm not a feminist.
I just think it's I just think it's just a dumb way of looking at things, so taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I have to grab a little bit of drink for this one. Have you guys seen any theater or been to a museum recently?
I have.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it while I go grab some ice cubes.
The last
nice segue.
The last museum I went to was the De Young in San Francisco, which is a beautiful. I almost like the building more than I like the art inside of it because it looks like something out of Star Trek. The outside of it is covered in this recycled rusted copper, and it has all these bizarre angles, and even the entryway to the building is this beautiful art by this British artist name. I believe his name is Goldberg. It's really strange. He intentionally cracked the concrete, with the crack leads you into the building. Like it was intentionally. It was once you see it, realize it's there and that it was done on purpose. It's actually quite cool. But you could walk by it 100 times and never know it was there if someone didn't point it out to you.
All right, I'm back.
Cool.
I love. One of my favorite thing about going to museums is honestly half the time is just seeing the museums themselves because they tend to be just such interesting, beautiful buildings. SF MoMA. I really.
Is that what you're talking about, the SF MoMA?
Just now, but before that, I was talking about the De Young.
Oh wait, the De Young is the one that's in Golden Gate Park.
Yes, it was radically.
It's like a weird cute. It looks like a Borg ship that got squished at the bottom.
Yeah, I was talking about the architecture. Like it's got this great tower that goes up, but yet it is largely cubical. It's covered in recycled copper paneling that's extruded and not corrugated, but perforated. That's what it is.
So here's my thing. I actually think taxpayers should pay money for theaters and museums because ultimately,
some things are worth having even if they're not profitable.
Yeah, and they only become profitable after the artist's death, and whoever the fuck, like, if somebody's like some incredibly talented painter or musician, they're almost universally a really, really bad business person because they spend time actually making good, art or music or whatever.
Mark Twain was broke his entire life because he had no concept of money.
No, because it's fucking hard to actually be brilliant. It's really, really hard, And the only people who ever really revolutionize work are somebody who has a really, really dedicated spouse or something that, or patron, you know, like,
or they were already rich.
yeah, or parents.
Are you saying that the reason that you have financial problems, Prince, is because you're excessively brilliant?
Absolutely.
Hashtag me too.
And we must all be geniuses.
So yeah, you know, like, uh, uh like I do, but see, like, then I also run, okay, so but I also run into problems with this one because I know that the way that these things get doled out, it doesn't go to the brilliant people, it goes to the people that work the grant writing system, like, because I have experience with this. I know people who get grants from the government and who work as, you know, like like is it somebody like me who moves to San Francisco as like a really, really skilled multimedia, you know, new media multimedia artist who can like write really well and make theater and create, you know, electronic music, and combines all three things and like do all this fucking shit. Do
With
I get the
humility.
do I will I'm certainly qualified, right?
Yes.
But do I get the grants? No. No. Do you want to know who gets the fucking grants?
The
The
black
fucking,
trannies.
yeah, the fucking the loud black woman who politicizes her identity all the time, who says that she's a lesbian except for is actually dating a white guy. You know, like,
That's
she's
why
the one,
gender's a construct, so they can get away with it.
she's the one who gets the grants, or even just some fucking white gay guy who's really good at writing a grant, and then you see his work and it's fucking terrible, and he literally sucks the right dick.
Always important. Gotta know
Yeah.
which dick you're sucking.
So so I get very conflicted about this type of question, you know, because it's just like, well, but if they regulated it right, and they, you know, like, maybe they could come up with some system where like maybe sometime in the future the audience of everyday citizens in a nation could actually vote on what art they actually like, and everybody got a chance to get funded based on where the taxpayers money is actually going,
Like
because
American
of,
Idol.
yeah, or some shit like that. It's like maybe in the future that could work. I don't know. So I'm going to say disagree, but I'm not going to say strongly disagree. Okay. So schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Yeah, strongly agree. Fucking nobody should have to go. I don't think, I think that shit's ultimately up to the parents, because it ultimately is.
Eh.
Like, we all know that like homeschooling is a thing, so shut up. You know, like, and like, if a kid isn't getting a good education, that's ultimately on their parents, and I want to move on, you know?
Mhm.
So all people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind. What does that even fucking mean? What does that mean? Oh my god. Fucking hell, I have to take another shot. Oh, I have half in that glass from the
How much
last
of your
one.
bottle is left, Prince?
About half.
Maybe this. I think this is asking whether or not you agree with the ethno state or the ethno neighborhood.
Yeah, I know.
Do you agree we should have ethno
I
neighborhoods?
know, it's fucking stupid. I was just like, this is really on here.
I just
So,
hope.
you know, but it's so stupid.
I just hope we
Because,
finish this before we pass out.
I know, right? No, I just hate that.
I know.
It's like that they're asking, like, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people stick to their own kind. Well, ultimately, yes, people should, like, what is their own kind? What does that mean? People who think like them?
It's
People,
extremely loaded. That's
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
so
It's not just the question that's loaded right now.
it's like, well, people should stick. Like, I want to hang out with people I like. That doesn't only mean white people, you know. Like, that's you're just being dumb. That's dumb. That's fucking.
Let's just agree that you hate all of the questions and choose the ones that are close.
Yeah. So strongly disagree because that's, I guess,
Closest.
ultimately, like, I think that's so fucking stupid. That's just fucking dumb.
All
Good,
right.
okay. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. I don't
And occasionally
know.
their wives. No.
I guess I'm gonna say agree. Just because like I am not. I think that like it depends upon the kid. It depends upon the circumstances and how old the kid is. Like if it's like I can see arguments to be made for spanking a kid like every once in a while. I didn't come. My parents spanked me when I was really really little, a little bit. But eventually, they after they did it to me too many times for unfair reasons, I just started hitting them back.
Mm.
Like I
Yes.
was like 3, and they were like, "Oh, your sister's crying. You must have done something to her." I'm like, "My sister's 2 years older than me, and she pinned me on my back and started spitting on my face, and then I hit her, and then she faked tears. So if you want to hit me for that, fuck you. I will punch you in the face, motherfucker." And they had to stop hitting me once they realized that I was not taking their shit.
They also said you couldn't watch any more Quentin Tarantino films.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so it's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Strongly agree. Like, what kind of dumbass questions is that? That's ridiculous. Are you kidding? Okay. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Strongly agree. Okay, these are getting easier. Um, the prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Uh, I'm going to say agree because I think that there's definitely a massive amount of give or take to that. Like, I think that people should just be aware of the world and history in general, but should mainly, be functional members of society. So I'm going to say agree. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Oh, shut up. Okay, strongly disagree because that's just rude. You can't do that. Like, that's just dumb. Okay, the most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly disagree because that's dumb. That's just so authoritarian. That's just so dumb. Like, accept discipline. Like, that's just like a fucking Thanos is gonna kill your fucking friends or some shit. I don't like it. I don't like the question.
More dark
That's a bad question.
I haven't seen the movie yet. I just have heard.
It's good.
Okay, so there are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree.
How racist.
There are absolutely savage and uncivilized fucking people, and they need to be
Eliminated.
they need to be told first what they're doing is wrong, and if they can't get the fucking memo, then they need to shape the fuck up or ship the fuck out. It works like that in YouTube land.
We can force them.
If somebody acts like a fucking fool on YouTube, everybody knows eventually. Not naming any names. All right.
We force them to watch queer kid stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's banned by the Geneva Convention.
Oh, true.
I've exposed myself to that cancer enough. We can.
There's not enough chemo in the world for
There's
that.
not
That
enough
shit
liquor
gave
in
my
the house.
cancer.
All right.
And it gave that herpes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, cancer, herpes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cancer, herpes.
Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. So those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not accept societies. So, oh, the alcohol's hitting me a little bit, and I'm like having trouble grasping the question.
Mm.
So what this question is asking,
Are you a
oh,
freeloader?
yeah, is somebody a freeloader? Is that okay from society? I would say strongly agree overall. Yeah, absolutely. Like that's an easy question. Um, um, but it does depend upon what. No, I would say,
Don't overthink it.
yeah, I would say ultimately strongly agree. Okay, when you are troubled, it's better to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Why is that a political question?
You don't know, but it is.
Yeah, when you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. I disagree, but I don't strongly disagree.
I do origami.
Yeah,
Actually,
mean,
I don't. I've been terrible at origami.
I think that sometimes it's better to think about it, but like,
Not too much, though.
yeah, not too much. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I have to just take a little bit of I don't want to take another shot because fuck that. But
Stay away from an open flame, Chris.
yeah. I just don't know. Like that's just like one of these unanswerable questions. Like and if anyone ever told me that they can answer that question, I would say fuck off. I don't want to be your friend. So I'm gonna say strongly disagree because I don't like that question. You know?
Question.
Wait. No, that implies that they can be. So I'm just gonna say disagree. If that makes sense. So what's good for the most successful corporation is always ultimately good for all of us. Strongly disagree. That's just so fucking stupid.
What's good for the bioweapons company is usually not good for the rest of us.
Yeah. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Okay, I have to at least take a little drink. Let me think. Hold on just a second. However independent its content, but that's a contradiction. That's already a contradiction. If it's taxpayer money going to,
I think they're saying whether or not they are, even if they are not, say, compromised, they're not a propaganda wing.
But you can't separate that.
Well, in theory, you can. I mean, we're not so much talking about the practice.
I'm a pragmatist.
Okay.
I don't like pretending with these questions, and that's why these tests piss me off. No broadcasting institution. Yeah, and see, this is why I have to pour myself the most micro shot for this one because fuck you for asking me that question. That's so fucking stupid, and it's like entrapment, Like, I don't jive with questions like that. I don't think it's fair. Oh, cool. I left part of the last shot in my glass because I was afraid to actually drink how much tequila was in there. I think that's rude. It's a stupid question. Should no broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I would say I disagree because, like, fine, you can give it to some people sometimes, whatever. I don't care. But I think that that's a really fucking stupid way to phrase things. And
you're answering under protest.
Yeah, I'm very much answering under protest. I don't like that. So on page 4 of 6. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Agree? I feel like that's like fucking a question from the last decade,
My
right?
my philosophy is up with when I was taking these. If I'm not 100% sure, I go with either agree or disagree and stay away from this. I only choose the strongly when I know that I agree or disagree strongly.
I just don't even. I don't know enough about like the NSA and shit to even like feel like I know about that. And so it's not that I have a strong opinion and I feel that the question is loaded. I just don't really feel.
So to the best of your knowledge.
I'm gonna say agree because probably.
So there you go.
Mhm.
Okay, a significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all of the arguments that Deloitte. Shut the fuck up. Strongly disagree.
I mean,
I don't even need to finish reading that. Like, shut up. Like,
The
wait.
great leap
Okay.
forward.
Avoids all the arguments that delay progress. Wait. No, strongly agree because that's true. Technically.
Welcome to California.
Mhm.
Well, it's true if the person who's in charge is right about something.
And isn't Stalin.
Well, but I mean, even if it is Stalin and he's right about something, then that's an advantage. Like I'm not going to compromise my logic to
More than the tequila has.
no, but
I'm just teasing. I'm sorry.
no, but you see my logic, right?
I do. Yes.
It's just like that's actually a true statement. Is that it does, like when these are George W. Bush questions. George W. Bush, he got in trouble for saying that he wished he could be a dictator, even though he wasn't, because he could at least get stuff passed through Congress easily. And people got really, really mad about that. But I mean, it's a good point. It's not like it's untrue. All right. So I have to say I strongly agree. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Oh, strongly disagree. Everybody needs to be worried because the fucking wrongdoers are the ones who fucking surveying people. So, like, yeah, that's a dumb question. Strongly disagree. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I'm gonna say agree because
It's
even
just
though
an option.
even though I probably I think I would probably ultimately think it's rare to kill people. I think that if people um oh, this is such a no, I'm gonna take a sip. Hold on. Oh fuck.
On
Sorry.
screen moment.
No, the sugar hit the back of my throat.
Ah.
So the death penalty should be an option for most serious crimes. I don't like what bugs me about that question is that there's such a interesting argument to be made for the notion that like um some criminals commit suicide by committing crimes. And they think to themselves that they're scared to take their own lives. And so they go and do some really, really heinous thing, expecting to be killed by the police or to be put to the death penalty.
Suicide by cop.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if we are too in favor of the death penalty and we tell them, you're not going to die, but you're going to go to prison for the rest of your life where you're not going to die and you're going to be in solitary confinement, then they might not do this shit. So that's a really complicated question, and it's very philosophical. I'll say agree though, just because yeah, it's not an unanswerable question. I'll say that there should be a death penalty because most people probably don't want to die. Okay. Next, in a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Actually, I strongly agree with that, and that's shitty. But I say that just because I've been around group projects and group dynamics and everything too much that there has to be an authoritarian some sort of structure of authority. When the person's only goal tends to be being an authoritarian, like getting to the top of the ladder, and that's their motive, then that's a bad person, you know. But ultimately, you know, it's kind of like with the GigTow thing and what I was telling you about with that cunt. Okay, this is a long story. I'm just not going to tell it. But long story short, some cunt tried to like make a private, like secret GigTow group and proclaim himself some sort of leader. But he also made me an administrator of it. And the dumb cunt didn't understand what GigTow actually was. He thought that it was like the Radical Fairies rebranded or some shit. Like he wanted it to be this like hippy dippy fucking gay guy, like gay separatist thing. And I was like, well, I don't think you understand really what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I thought I heard Gigtown and cunt, and I thought you were talking about me for a minute. Proceed.
No, so I was like, dude, I don't think you understand what GigTow actually was intended to be. It's like this, you know, like gay men who are diametrically opposed to feminism and prioritizing women and trans people ahead of themselves. And not just are we opposed to prioritizing women and feminists, but we are against even giving a shit about other gay guys who give a shit about that shit. You know? So if some other gay guy says, by the way, trans people are more oppressed than you, so you should care about them and you should show up to this meeting, because we'll say, fuck off. We don't care. Like we have no reason to care about you, and we want nothing to do with you. Go away. And that's what GigTow is, right?
I agree.
And I tried to explain it to him, and he was like, no, you shouldn't tell that guy to leave. And I was like, well, what do you propose? And he was like, you should talk to that guy and try to explain to him why what he was saying was wrong. And I was like, no, I don't have time for that shit. That's not GigTow. Like, it's just not what it is. Like, you
Go
can
back
have,
to your safe space.
yeah, you can have your own little fucking stupid ass group, but like, that's not what GigTow is. And so he was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, so if that's what this group is, I don't want to be an administrator of it. And by the way, you didn't ask me if I wanted to be an administrator. You just made the group and made me an administrator, for the record. So I don't want to fucking run your little group.
You got voluntold.
Yeah, and I was like, first off, I don't want to run your fucking group. Second off, please change the name from gays going their own way, because that's, you don't get what gays going their own way actually is. And I understand that it's like a subjective fucking prescriptive definition and everything, but like it's barely gotten off the ground, and I don't want you to fucking run it, like ruin it before it has a chance to become a sapling, you know? Like and he tried to challenge my authority. Like, he literally tried to say, what makes you have ownership over this and not me? You're not the person who came up with this. It was Our Cat's Gay, and you're not Our Cat's Gay. And I was like, and keep in mind, this is a guy who only heard the term GigTow through me. I was the one who told him about it. And he knows my real life name and my channel name. So when he tried to do that, he tried to directly say that for whatever fucking fucked up reason in his little twisted head, that he has the right to, you know, take some sort of leadership position in this movement that, like, I wasn't saying that I wanted to be a leader of. You know, if any of us wanted to be a leader of some sort of Facebook GigTow group, we would have made it. I didn't say that. He did, tried to declare himself a leader, and then when I told him that he was getting it wrong, he tried to say, well, I don't care that I'm getting it wrong. I make the rules. And I said, oh, no, you don't, motherfucker. You know?
Finger snaps came out.
Yeah, I said, the
Maria, hold my baby.
Yeah, I said,
Jeez.
yeah, no, I said, the fuck you say to me? The fuck you say to me? You say that? You say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Bitch, I will cut you.
Yeah, and so I was like, look, I didn't define Gigtow, but I will fucking talk to cats, and I promise you that.
We will cut you from
Yeah.
throat to scrote, motherfucker.
Yeah. If you keep doing whatever the fuck you're trying to do here, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do. Like, I really don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but it's not gonna fly. You're gonna become the laughing stock of the Gigtow sphere.
When there's a Gigtow community, well,
Yeah.
there is one, but when there's a bigger Gigtow community,
Yeah.
we're all going to laugh at you.
Yeah, I said
It's coming.
yeah, I said you will be blacklisted if you keep doing this shit. And he
I don't know. I'd never blacklist him.
Well, no. Do you
I'd make him a total mockery.
No, I made him. No, I gave him a fucking ultimatum. No, and this is what I said. I said that's not a threat. That's a promise. And I told him that. And what do you know what he did? He resigned himself as the moderator of the group, gave me full moderator control, and unsubbed every member of the group that he had added.
So he
Kind of impressed.
Yeah.
So basically,
because he knew that he didn't have any sort of actual leg to stand on in this conflict. But ultimately, I didn't want to be in that position. Like, I didn't want to, like, you know, I didn't ask to be at the helm of this thing that is Gigtow. Like, I want to just make videos and like extrapolate upon things and talk endlessly and like take 5 fucking hours to answer a political compass test. Like, that's the type of
I mean, not 5 hours. Just
we're not done yet, buddy. But that's the type of person I am, you know. Like, I didn't like he's some person who's like a leader in the radical fairies. He's like an authoritarian. He wants to climb the ranks of some fucking thing, and I'm not like that. But ultimately, what I realized in that moment is that there does need to be leaders, because people self-regulate their leaders naturally, and the person who is most fit to lead needs to be the leader. And in that case, it was me and not that fucker. I had to fucking put him in his place. You know? So let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Why is this a political question?
It
the
doesn't
fuck
matter.
It's
asking. It's about you as a person, I think, more about them.
Abstract art that doesn't represent anything at all. Anything. Okay, I'm gonna take the rest of this little shot because I don't feel like that's fair.
I mean, if it doesn't actually represent anything, I guess.
What does that even mean? What represent anything?
Well, it's like lobby art. It doesn't. Does it mean something?
It's dumb. It's dumb.
Well, then...
I say strongly disagree, because anything that's proclaimed as art can be technically considered art, and I think that that's because I just think that's, what are they even talking about? Why do they even fucking say that? That's stupid. Like, I don't want to like validate like fucking
Are you going to...
art. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that that's a stupid fucking question. Like,
okay,
because it's like, that's another one that it's like, okay, please give me 300 words or maybe more about what you're actually asking me, because that's not a fucking concise, like, what are you getting at exactly? Like, what do you really want to know? I don't believe that it's confined to that, because as it relates to politics, that's loaded. It's very loaded. All right. So, in criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Uh, I'm gonna say disagree,
Okay.
just because I feel
Because.
yeah. You want me to move on? It sounds like,
Yes.
it's just I want to explain all my answers to the audience because I'm not gonna sit here and just sort of like do them. I want to sort of qualify them so
I
that
understand.
people know where I stand. Um, I just feel like punishment should be a thing like where you do this and it's a warning to other people who might commit that crime that this might happen to you and everything, and that's um very, very important, but rehabilitation is ultimately um good. But like if I said strongly disagree, that would mean that rehabilitation is like more important. I don't think that that's fucking true at all. Like that's like you have to be a hard ass sometimes. So whatever. All right. Next, it is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. I have my fucking little sociopath friend. Fuck him. He can go to hell. He can fucking eat his own vagina. All right, next. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Um, Strongly disagree. I just think that that's stupid. That's a dumb way to look at the world. Like it's a really, really dumb way. Um, all right. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Uh, God, I would take a shot for this, but I don't feel like it because I've been drinking a lot already. I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a sip. Um, I'll say agree in the way that um mothers should care about their kids first and foremost. But like homemakers is a stupid, like that's like a fucking paradigm that we're past in the current year. I just don't like that framing of the question. All right, multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. What does that even mean?
I'm
It sounds
entirely
like
sure.
SJW word salad.
No, it doesn't even. It sounds like fucking science word salad. Plant genetic.
I wonder if it has something to do with how, for example, Monsanto has patented certain genes from plant species. That's how I ended up interpreting it.
Hmm. Um. I'm gonna say agree because maybe I don't know.
I really think it's a shit question on account of the phrasing.
Don't make me be tempted to take a tequila shot because I really don't need it.
Mhm.
All right. So making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Oh, strongly agree. Yeah, I mean, you have to at least make. Wait, what does make peace mean though? I mean, like, no, okay, sorry. So I have to no, I have to be very semantic about this because these questions are so short. Like if they were 300 words long, it would be one thing, but they're so short. And peace means implies that like you're like fine, carry on. I allow you to do your shit. I don't agree with that. It's more like accepting the fate and um so I'm gonna say disagree because of that. I don't like the word peace with the establishment. I no, I think that you you should disagree, but you shouldn't strongly disagree, because like you have to accept that the establishment is going to remain the establishment, and you're not going to be happy or achieve anything if you don't do that. That's just how things are. Okay, 5 of 6. Astrology. Oh my God. Oh, this is going to be easier. Is this going to be easier at this point? Astrology accurately explains many things. Believe it or not, I strongly agree. I'm moving on. Moving on.
We'll roll with it.
Okay. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. My dad was a computer scientist. Go to hell. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Let me grab a drink. Let me think about this.
Well, I mean, just on my...
I'm gonna say actually strongly agree
Mm.
with that, because that's ultimately true. As social security is systemic, and charity will ultimately help the genuinely disadvantaged more. But the problem is that there's a lot less charity and a lot more social security out there. And that's the thing. It's like kind of a quantity over quality situation, you know, if that makes sense. So, next question. Some people are naturally unlucky. What the fuck is that? That's dumb. Okay, some people are naturally unlucky. Strongly agree, I guess. Like, I don't know if I even view the universe in the terms of luck and unluck, but
So you
I
disagree with that?
well, no. I don't like to answer these questions in terms of do I disagree with the fact that they asked me the question. I'm just saying, do I disagree with what they're trying to ask me? I want to at least take it on their terms, you know. But some people are naturally unlucky. Absolutely. I had a friend that like died of cancer in his late 30s of lung cancer, because his fucking mom, he never even fucking smoked cigarettes, but his mom, when he was really, really little, smoked, like chain smoked, and would drive him around in a car and keep the windows closed because she didn't like the cold. And he ended up actually being one of those secondhand smoke deaths in his late 30s. And that's not fair. You know, like, so some people are naturally unlucky. Okay. It is important that my child schools instills religious values. Strongly disagree. That's dumb. Next page. Strongly disagree. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. Shut up. Who cares? A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly agree. Even though I hate gay dads, I hate them. I think that they're stupid, and I don't know why. No, sorry. I'm going too hard. See, this is
Or
me.
gay fathers.
This is me getting drunk and like forgetting that I'm on a live stream and I'm saying things that could be incriminating to anybody that found this and watched. No, it's not. No, that's just me being silly. What I mean, what I mean, what I actually mean is that, I do find the gay dad type crowd kind of irritating. I think that they
Well, parents in general are irritating.
Yeah, they rank out right up there with the
But there's
sanctimummies with me.
well, but at the same time though, there's like straight people who end up having kids who are like cool,
Yeah,
and
but they're not more interesting because they have children.
but there's something cool though about like straight people who like they fall in love, then they get pregnant, they decide to get married because of it, and then they have their fucking first kid and they have their second kid, and then they're like, well, yeah, I guess this happened to me. You want to hang out? Let's hang out. Like we can talk about stuff and blah 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 blah, and that's just what their life becomes, and like they roll with it and whatever.
Yeah, but
But
it's
but
it
but
rarely.
but gay guys, when that happens to gay guys, when gay guys end up having kids, it's because like they were on a crusade to be gay dads.
Oh,
You know?
don't forget you forget though there are plenty of breeders out there whose whole purpose in life is simply to find a partner so that they can have babies. That's a universal human condition, and they're some of the most tedious, uninteresting people.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of them, and you know what they're called?
Straight people?
No, women.
Yeah, yes. All
Yeah,
right, let's.
I don't know if it's the men exactly. It's different.
No, there are some.
So, but ultimately, I've thought about this one a lot because I hate gay dads because I've known gay dads, and I find them actually like largely very, very annoying people, and they have like weird inferiority complexes, and they think that they're awful people, and they like want to like overcompensate by like being gay dads, and it's this weird fucked up thing, and I think it's like tacky and awful. But ultimately there is a lot of really fucking shitty situations for kids that are in the system, and they deserve to have a good home with enthusiastic parents, and so if they want to be fucking gay dads, they can be gay dads and take in one of those kids. Let's move on. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Strongly agree. Like, I don't fucking care. Next question. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Strongly agree. Yeah, strongly agree. I mean, I'm sure maybe somebody could come up with an exception for that, but I don't want to be that somebody right now. No one can feel naturally homosexual. I'm gonna take a sip on that just for reasons.
Just because it's stupid.
Just
Well,
because what does naturally mean?
Well, this
But
if you're thumping the Bible, it means is it a choice?
yeah. Oh, it's not a choice. I can promise you, after masturbating to when I was 13 or so, when I first discovered masturbation, and the only girl that I could actually fantasize about and successfully come was Alicia Silverstone in those early.
Sorry,
Oh,
couldn't help it.
She was pretty cute, right? Wasn't she cute?
She was, except for the whole
I saw
breast
it
and
coming.
vagina and
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I mean-
no, I was ultimately more interested in that farmer that they picked up in that video with Liv Tyler, where
oh yeah.
he was pretty hot. But I could think about Cher from Clueless if I tried. Um, she was cool, but yeah. So no one can naturally feel homosexual. Strongly disagree, just in the way that like I only discovered sexual desires when Marky Mark popped on the television screen.
And then
And
there was other popping going on.
yeah,
In the trouser region.
yeah. I was like, wait, maybe I really am what the kids call me at school.
Mhm. I like you the dick.
Yeah.
Last question.
These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Uh, wait, what does that even mean? Okay.
People are too open about sex. I mean, like, I think at the point
So
where
are people too open about sex or not too open about sex?
we're showing dildos to 7-year-olds on YouTube
Yeah,
videos now.
yeah. I'm gonna say strongly agree. Yeah, these
Yeah,
days.
me too.
Yeah, these days, yeah.
Hmm.
Now let's see where I stand.
And then we will all see if we're how similar or dissimilar we are all.
Where
Did
am
you
I?
did you agree? Sorry, I didn't catch that one.
He strongly agreed.
Strongly
Yeah.
agreed. Okay, now let's just click through this.
I'm an authoritarian leftist.
Nope. You're right here. Wait, can you see the?
No,
No,
where?
it's not it's not yet. We got a little lag.
Oh God, I'm the fucking exactly what I thought I would be. That's so fucking stupid. No, shut the fuck up.
Okay, now
Shut this so fucking stupid question.
No.
I'm a center left libertarian, just like fucking Sargon, Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, and every other motherfucker that's exactly like me.
okay, so
Exactly.
put up they can put up the rest of them and let's see how closely or dissimilar we are from each other.
Hold on, let me.
Oh, it's still not even gotten to that on mine.
Yeah,
My
the
lag
screen-
must be mad.
Yeah, no, the lag is pretty bad, but we still have 15 loyal people, and we love you.
Oh my God, thank you for actually watching that shit show. That was me being like the most. No, okay. These guys,
They love us. We love you.
They knew that it was gonna be like this. My co-hosts knew that it was going to devolve into this.
I must admit, I wasn't 100% sure that it would. But so yeah, like.
But like it had to be a drinking game, or we were never gonna move on.
I suppose.
And, like that was clear within 6 questions. Like it was like, no, let me make myself clear. Let me make myself clear.
You're actually a little bit more liberal than I am, Chris.
Yep, he's in between me and you, Cats.
Yeah, I am like.
Okay, now I see it.
I'm like dead center. I am like I think only like two. I'm not seeing it on the screen right now, but I'm like 2 squares away from the center on the left libertarian side, and which actually I'm not too disappointed with. I feel like it actually describes me pretty well because I kind of float all over the place.
I'm never gonna tell anyone this because there were so many questions that were, how many shots did I take? Like there was there was like 5 or so that I actually. And I meant that, like I really meant it when I said that, like I can't answer this question. It's not fair.
So where did Space Pan get?
Space Pan's the middle one.
Oh, okay, I see it now. So
let me see it. Hold up. Where is it on the?
Okay, he's.
Oh, I need to open a new window. Let's see. Yeah, I just
Yeah. So, yeah, you are the most liberal of us all.
Really?
No, I was the most liberal of us all.
Oh wait, are you the one? Are you the one?
Yeah, I'm the second from the left.
Okay, I'm on the far left. So yeah, I'm.
Wait, which one is? Okay, who's the one that's actually the right?
That's Farrell.
Farrell is actually a little bit.
I'm looking at this and thinking one of these things is not like the others.
We must cast him out of our midst.
You are the one into the center right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then who's the one that's even more? I'm the one all the way to the right, right?
No, you're. Oh wait. Oh,
yeah,
Prince
you're on
is
the right-hand side of the screen, Prince.
And then who is the middle left, right? Or sorry, the middle left?
Farrell's in blue and Space Pan's in the purple section.
So Space Pan's in the purple section, and who is the one that's to the left of Space Pan?
That's me.
So wait, Space Pan is actually
more okay.
So so the one that's to right of you, Bacon, that's Space Pan?
Yes.
So he's actually the most conservative of us all in a weird libertarian sort of
No,
way.
he's the most freaking like.
Did Did he
He's
just
the most
troll it?
he's the most ANCAP fucking of all of us, if
Which
that makes any
Oh, it
sense.
does. Which means
So does that make me the most conservative out of us, or
I don't know. Let's put it this way. I believe your answers are genuine. In all kindness to Spacepan, I'm pretty sure that his answers are like most ANCAP opinions, which are meant to incite extreme reaction and not very practical.
Well, and no, and I think that they really, genuinely, really, actually believe
don't know.
them. You know,
I'll give him the benefit
no,
Yeah.
of the
they
doubt.
genuinely believe them until their parents are on Social Security and everything sucks.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very easy to have extreme opinions when you're
No,
young.
wait, we should not.
No, the thing that gets me.
No, wait, sorry, I should not have even said that because it's not cool to like Spaceman.
I'm not speaking.
I was the one who talks shit. He is absolutely brilliant.
No, he's
Like
a very smart person.
we have to give it up for our repeated co-host Spacepan Derek. He is a very, very brilliant, funny. People should go actually watch his videos.
They are quite insightful.
Yeah, like his first video that really caught my attention, where I was like, I really want to actually like regularly chat with him. Was the one, I don't remember the name of it, but he did a response video to this woman that was like, girls, we don't run the world, but should we? And his response is like, so according to this historical analysis, female leaders all throughout history have a tendency to be as not, if not slightly more warlike than their male counterparts.
Well, there's that.
Depending upon whether or not they were married, and actually single female rulers had a higher probability to lead their populations into war than married female rulers who were with men. That all said, if history has been any indication, then no. Actually, no, the world would not be better, and like, and it was actually quite funny. So
That is funny.
Yeah, you should guys. I don't remember the exact video name. He's actually very, very, very smart and very, very funny, and his ideas are very good. And if I were to debate him about things like the political compass, he would at least be able to give me a good run for my money in terms of like when we actually have a conflict and have to fight about a specific issue. Not to like stroke my own ego or anything, but like I'm not scared about who would come out on top. But like he is really, really, really smart, and the reasons that he thinks what he thinks are based in logic, and he can illustrate those things. But
he says them in such extreme. Sometimes I think he says things that I don't think he even thinks, just because he's trying to draw a point to something that he actually believes. Like I'm.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's exactly what's going on. I literally think that it's just the lack of information. Like he's playing 3D chess and he's not so used to the 4D chess. It's like, look, dude, when you're a little bit older and you see how the tables start shifting when given time, you'll see why people need to anticipate what happens in 5 years.
So you're saying that he's brilliant, but a little bit naive, basically.
Yeah, a little bit. And I was too at his age, and
it's natural.
Yeah, like and to be perfectly truthful, aside from Bacon, who I don't actually know that well because Bacon doesn't really talk that much. So hey, Bacon, talk
Yes.
more.
Oh,
But
because
At least,
I have
at
a
least
little
he
Make
run,
it speak.
because I have
at least he runs
I
the
have a
machine.
because I have a bone to pick with the political compass, and I can explain what pisses me off and probably Spaceman a little bit. It's the lack of a neutral option, and when I was in like marketing research or whatever, those style
yeah,
of tests have to have a neutral option by
yeah,
definition.
yeah,
And whoever wrote this just fucking failed at that. It's like you
yeah,
failed at basic statistics, so fuck you for designing this.
yeah. It's like it was made by some fucking creepy ass Democrat that wanted people to be bracketed in some
It's
fucking
it's
fucked up shit.
actually I think a
But here's
British
the
one
No,
exam.
but wait, I was just saying though, um, like out of everybody that we do the Gaytriarchy and the little like tiny forming GigTow community or whatever,
the seed of
which
TikTok.
yeah, the sapling of the GigTow. I would say that and I will say this publicly, maybe because I'm drunk. Um, Derek, while he's not here, is the person that I see as somebody that can really, really, really pioneer a sort of a new school of thought because I he is very, very brilliant. He's younger and he's very, very dedicated into this like independent thinking in a way that I kind of was when I was his age, but it was a different thing back then. And it's like Katz and I are older, and I don't know exactly what Bacon's deal is, and so maybe Bacon is gonna upstage him, and I don't, I don't actually know, but like, but Spacepan is really, 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 really quite brilliant, and so like I want to definitely encourage that brilliance um and not try to like act as if just because when he tries to talk about the political compass answers and I try to like fucking shut him down kind of ruthlessly because ultimately I do legitimately know more about this thing and he's wrong. Like I did that happened. Like that there was this moment where he kind of tried to be like, well, this, and I'm like, no, that's actually not how things work. And I had to do that, but ultimately, it's not because he's stupider than me. It's just because I had more information about it, and I think that everybody, like the entire audience of anybody who might ever possibly watch this should be aware of what actually happened there. It was not me winning. It was me having a lot more in my corner in terms of the information that I had on my side that led me to that conclusion in which I could say that particular thing at that particular moment in time. And I have a lot of faith in his ability to take things in the future and to make the world a better place as I age and I become an elderly gay man that doesn't have children because I don't want to be a gay dad. And I have faith in people like Derek to make the world a good place for me as I grow old and die.
Okay, well, I actually do have a slight tangent that might be kind of relevant to what we're doing. Like this comes from me pissing off libertarians on Reddit for the last couple days. Aside, when I'm not pissing off feminists. Um, the argument that I get in with when I agree with libertarians on a principle, but not necessarily the philosophy behind it, it's very much they're trying to say, well, if you agree with this principle or policy position, you must agree with the philosophy behind it. And I think, and I don't know, it's something I see a lot more with either, well, the libertarians and progressive end of things, where it's like, if you agree with X, you must agree with everything that comes behind it. And I'm like, no, I don't agree with everything with your stupid philosophy, and I just blatantly don't care. And I just get into arguments with people, and it gets really annoying after a while, but I tolerate it.
It's like when they try to say, like, if you believe in equality, then you're between men and women, then you're a feminist.
Yeah, it's
like
that kind of shit.
not
Oh,
not
by the
real.
way,
Not
by the way,
remotely.
by the way,
Hmm.
some funny shit happened to me
Hmm.
a few weeks ago.
So-
So this is something I brought up in a few videos. Have you guys noticed in my videos when I've mentioned
Mhm.
how I know some black guy
Mhm.
who actually has been falsely accused of rape by some I think white woman. He didn't say that she was white, but I assume that she was. And he likes to fuck white bitches. Like I know that he does. As far as I know, he fucked some white woman when they were both really drunk, and then the next day, for whatever reason, she decided that she was weirded out by it, which happens when you wake up the next day and like, what did we do? Um,
Mhm.
and she decided to start telling people eventually that he was inappropriate and that he like kind of raped her or whatever fucking ever,
Because that's what they do.
yeah. But he did not rape her. I'm sorry. He lives in fucking Oakland, California, and everybody that he knows is like mostly white and Asian. Well, maybe not white and Asian, mostly white. He's one of those black guys that mostly hangs out with white people in Oakland, which is right by Berkeley, in San Francisco. He doesn't hang out with the fucking ghetto motherfuckers. He's type of black guy that white girls hang out with, and he fucks them, like, and but
That's
this
his
girl,
plan.
but this girl tried to say that she got raped by him, right? And he's like, hell no, I did not do that. I didn't do that. You know, um, that wasn't a thing. Hold on, wait. Why did I bring this up? There was a conclusion. Shit, am I getting too drunk to even like?
I
Possibly.
think you might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask a question for everyone before maybe we call it quits before we do damage to ourselves.
Yeah.
How do you personally, in one word, or let's just say in one sentence, how do you feel about the results of the test as it reflects you? Not so much the state of like whether the test was good, stupid, or what. Just like how do you feel? Like is it close? Is it not? Like I'll start out for me. Like I felt like the test, even though it was a little weird and kind of ambiguous, I don't feel that bad about where I am on there. I feel like it kind of represents me as just sort of a generally moderate, even-keeled kind of person that's still a little bit to the left, but not nearly as far as I perhaps thought I used to be. Farrell, where do you feel on that?
Well, that one, it actually kind of took me by surprise. I didn't really see myself as being any way, shape, or fashion authoritarian before, but now that it mentions it, I do kind of see those traits. Kind of have to in my line of work.
Okay.
What's your
Bacon?
line of work again?
Tech management.
And you weren't you in like the military or anything?
State government, though.
And Bacon, how did you feel about your results?
I felt pretty good. Like like for most of my political awareness, I've known that I've been fairly left leaning, but not, a communist. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I knew that I wasn't going to be like some alt radical centrist borderline libertarian, like
You weren't putting on a bra and setting it on fire.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be Dave Rubin. I knew that, and I knew I wasn't going to be Anita.
Take the
Sarkeesian.
bra off first before setting it on fire. Trust me on this. You'll
Oh.
thank me for it.
But the commies always win.
Take it off first.
Remember, at the end of the day, the commies always win.
Like the
That's a
Borg.
Poland.
Yeah.
The Borg on a long enough, for all the nerds out there who don't know, the question on like so-and-so versus the Borg is on a long enough time scale, the Borg always win, like feminists.
Absolutely. It's fucked. It's absolutely fucked.
Well, I think not to strong arm the chat, but or the show, but
we should end up.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit delirious.
I can hear it. We've been on for 3 hours, but you know what? This has been great because we have
because
15
it was
people still
fun.
watching.
It was fucked. I'm just gonna say. I'm just gonna fucking say in this like, and you can cut me off in within the next like 2 minutes. But like, no, it's fucked that I have to fucking take this like stupid ass political compass test that like people think that it's gonna like. They're gonna like judge me thinking that like they can like bracket me in some like fucking stupid ass shit that's like some fucking like little like pictograph where I'm this like dot on this like fucking stupid line in their little color scheme or some like dumbass shit. That's not how things. That's not how things fucking work. That's not how fucking things work. Like you don't even see the colors that I have to offer in my soul. Okay, like you don't understand how things actually are. Like I'm playing 8D underground backgammon and I'm smarter than you and I don't exist on your little green color spectrum, which most people apparently do except for cats and bacon and wait, no, not bacon. Bacon's in the green part, but
I'm in the
space
green
pan,
too, but I'm near the middle.
Yeah, but no, it's like fuck that. Nobody's on the red part for some reason. I've never seen anyone on the red part.
Because
like,
we're not crazy SJWs.
Yeah.
Well, but is that
Wait, none of y'all are crazy SJWs. That means you're all alt-right.
That's true. Well, anything that isn't anything that isn't red is alt-right. I think that's the way that works.
Actually, it's everything. It's not the upper left upper left 4 squares of the red. That's
pretty
all right.
much. Ideally, you